Anyways, hello everybody and welcome to part 3 and maybe the final part of the set review for March of the Machines. We still have red and green to go through and a little bit of Multiverse Legends. So, well, let's start with red. Scotty, maybe you want to lead the way so INCA doesn't have to read rares and mythics.
Yeah, all right, Lola, you're on rare duty.
Alright,
Aki Scrap Chomper. You want to just go? We're just going, right?
let's go.
Yeah.
Also,
Aki
everybody
Scrap
can vote.
Chomper. Oh, yeah, you can just type in to vote, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Aki Scrap Chomper. Red, 1 mana total for a creature Phyrexian Goblin. It's a 1/1 with 1 and a red. Tap and sacrifice an artifact or land. Draw a card. There's obviously a theme running throughout red and black about sacrificing stuff, sacrificing treasure tokens, sacrificing, I don't know, like small incubate tokens that'll be like outmoded at that stage of the game. I believe Aki Scrap Chomper, given what we see in the rest of the set, is one of the weaker sacrifice outlets, and also the body is almost completely irrelevant. So I would say this is like a third string sack outlet in your synergistic deck, right? You don't pick up enough of the good sack outlets, so you want to run like one Aki Scrap Chomper just because you need a certain balance, between like things that sack stuff and things that create fodder. But I'm really not looking to pick this one up highly, and I'm looking to pick it up if I need to fill in that void in my deck. This is a D+ for me.
Yeah, I would actually like this card if it could sack creatures, but it can't. The problem is that like both of the 1/1s that common in black are not artifacts. I don't think. So you can't really like turn those into cards when you want to. You can sack lands, which is nice, but that's like kind of whatever anyway. And then sure you can sack artifacts, but treasures are like the only artifact. I guess there is the black equipment you can sack as well. I still think it's okay in red-black, as it's kind of still wants some sack outs. I do like this more than the black-red uncommon again, because I think the black-red uncommon fucking stinks. But I'm not in love. I do like 1 mana 1/1 can block at least. Okay, I'll go D+ as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna D plus as well, but 1 second.
I'm also like okay putting this into kind of any red deck. It's not like gonna be embarrassing if I'm aggressive as well. Like it's not gonna be embarrassing. I would rather probably not put this into my decks, but it's like if I need a card, I can play this.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be very easy to get this one. I'm gonna start as a D plus as well. And there are some things to sack. It's fine, but not very excited about this one. Also needs to tap. Yeah, the big deal. It's big that you can't sacrifice creatures, but it's nice that you can get rid of lands later. Still, nothing too special.
Beamtown Beatstick. Red, 1 mana total for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has menace. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, create a treasure token, and you can equip it for 2. So 2 parts about this, right? The effect itself, menace, extra power, and creating a treasure token on hit, that is a good effect. That is actually quite strong. We've sort of seen the power of this effect back in Kaldheim with Goldvein Pick. Second part about this, the equip cost is much worse. Much worse. And I overall think this effect is actually a little better, because I think Menace is a really good keyword to have on something like this. But the equip cost is much worse, and overall I think this is just going to be a worse Magic card. Nicely, though, there's... Well, this is like one of the only ways to quote-unquote consistently get...
Treasures.
Artifacts to sacrifice, right? Like 1 a turn sacrifice fodder, right? This is like a consistent source. So I actually think this is like perfectly fine. You don't really want to stack up on too much of these, and I don't necessarily think that you want to be slamming these super early. And I think overall it's like a C-.
Yeah, I don't. What the fuck is Twitch saying to me? Something. Okay, Twitch, shut up. I don't care. Anyway, yeah, I'm not in love. I liked Goldvein Pick a lot, but it had an equip cost of 1. You already also it was like mainly a white card anyway in that set. Well, you would play it in red green and even in black green, but still was it its best in white. You had kind of more evasion in that set. This does itself give evasion, yes. But the cube chew is pretty steep. It's not sticky finger because you can just reuse this. It doesn't get embarrassed by bounce. It doesn't get embarrassed by exile and so on. But overall, yeah, the fact that you can get some sack fodder for your things is nice, I guess. But I don't think I want this in my black-red decks anyway. I can't imagine it's too easy to get through and make treasures per, like, one treasure a turn, or even like one treasure pretty often. That's probably gonna be okay though in aggressive decks, and if you're not aggressive with red, you probably just shouldn't play red anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna D+.
I'm with Cory, I'm on a C-. I like it a bit more. Now, no toughness boost is a big difference from the pick, right? It's this doesn't do basically anything on the defense, which is huge. And 2 equip cost is a lot. Like 1, you can always sneak in and it's fine, and you can re-equip it to block better and so on. Plus, Kaldheim also had some runes and some nice equipment synergies. Here you don't have that much, but I think it's still fine. Like Menace, it's much easier to get in with this, but then again, once you equip, you get the treasure. It's not like it paid for itself, which Pick did. It is very hard for this to be efficiently re-equipped. Like you equip it on one thing and then like, okay, I want it now here, I want it here. It's always a cost. It's always a real cost. And one with this effect was not really a real cost. So I'm gonna start as a C-. I can see it going down, but I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this, and helps with those, like really everything that can sacrifice an artifact. Village
Actually,
rights.
the fact in your developing turns you can pay 1 for Gold Vein Pick and still hit your curve was really, really strong.
Yeah, yeah. Village rights cannot hit, the new village rights cannot hit artifacts, right? It's just creatures.
Yeah, because it's village rights.
And with like Gold Vein Pick, the like optimal thing you could do is go 1-drop into pick, and then equip. You could still cast a 3-drop on 3 or something. With this, you can, I guess, equip on 3, but yeah, it's just more clunky than pick. Even though pick was more expensive on the front.
Also the pick, like when you have a 2-drop, you just equip it and all of a sudden it really is a creature. It does really become at least a 3-drop, and opponent can't block it, and you just most of the time, and you just attack. You get that 1 treasure, and you basically paid 1 for that. Here you're gonna be paying 2, which is a big difference, even though it's harder to block. Yeah, still C-. I think it's alright.
Burning Sun's Fury, 1 red, 2 mana total for an instant with Convoke. Up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. So this isn't really like a combat trick in the same sense that you win a combat, right? This is just a raw aggressive card. And I think the main draw to this is, for example, you can cast your 5-drop by tapping out all 5 mana and then immediately give this haste by tapping your 2 other creatures before that if they were like blanked by a large blocker. That's probably like the most explosive scenario I can think of for a card like this. Or like I guess you can maybe even double spell and then tap your other creatures to like haste them both out, but that's like, you know, that's like sort of best case scenario. You obviously have to know that your deck is going to be the aggressor vast majority of the time. This is not helping your small attackers necessarily survive combat. Like it can help them like push through damage, I suppose. And you can also, I guess, use this to finish off battles, but you have to have some pretty stinking good reasons to do that in terms of like the value that you're getting on the flip to be throwing away a card like this. Don't love it, niche application, but you'll know if I guess you're beating down hard enough that this is acceptable to run a little bit of. This is a D for me.
Yeah, I think this is like kind of similar to Inspired Charge in a sense. You want it in the same decks or you want Inspired Charge, but unlike Inspired Charge, I think this effect is actually okay to run in your aggressive decks because it is very cheap. And Convo can help to pay for it. I still don't necessarily want this. I'm not looking for it, but I'm like, oh, if I'm really aggressive, I'm okay running this on Inspired Charge because it's cheap. It's almost always gonna be at least okay. Because it is so cheap. I'm on a D as well, I think, though.
Yeah, I'm on a D. I'm very close. I kind of want to give it a D minus, but it can be serviceable. I don't see myself running this a lot. Very rarely, maybe it makes my deck. There is no trample here, right? So you're not pushing through. You never win combat with this. Basically never, unless you have first strike. Yeah, not a big fan. White has the +2/+2 convoke flying trick. Now that's something I want. This one, not really. I think this is gonna go to D minus easy, but I'm gonna start as a D as well.
Okay, let's talk about coming in hot. Red, for an instant, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Scry 1.
Yeah.
We sort of repeated this throughout, that these sort of combat tricks I do think get a little bit of a boost in this set, just because I think attacking and specifically blocking is going to happen a lot more because of protecting battles. So I actually don't mind this is probably a one of in my battle centric red decks. Because this wins a decent amount of early game combat, right? What this can't do is push your 2-drop past a 5-drop, but it certainly can make some combats from turns 3 to 4 look pretty good for you. So it's not the best card in the world, but I don't necessarily hate running a couple either if I'm in sort of the right shell for it. This is D+ for me.
Yeah, I don't like these almost at all. I agree it gets a little bit better in this set. 1-mana interaction is nice, but I think we've seen an effective replay or the same card, even with Scribe 1. I'm not sure, but I think we've seen the same card once.
Yeah, this is Stormstrike from Ravnica Allegiance.
Yeah, maybe. I thought that we've seen one later on as well, but maybe not.
I think we did. I think we saw it a few times.
Yeah. Anyway, Kindled Fury is generally one of the worst commons in sets, I think. It's really bad. Surf Strike follows similar pattern. It just doesn't push damage. The problem is you can't. Combat tricks are efficient removal spells, but they don't push damage, and unlike removal spells, really. But then you can, most combat tricks can often, in some form of fashion, also deal damage, a decent chunk of damage to face, which is one of the nice things about them. This doesn't really do that at all. It's easy to blow out. It doesn't save your creatures from any damage-based removal spells. It's just really clunky, but I agree it could be okay to run in some aggressive red decks. I'm on a D or a D minus on this. I'm still gonna start this at D, but I do think the last card is better than this.
Not by much, I think. But yeah, just D minus. This crap doesn't even win that many combats. Wins some. Sure Strike is Scry 1 is nothing here. I think nothing. Sure Strike is 2 mana +3/+0, and it's never really good.
I think this is bad. I think this is pretty comparable to Sure Strike though. But
yeah, it's 1 mana. It's much easier to play. But Sure Strike is never really good, and Sure Strike does win basically every combat. But it doesn't push enough damage. It doesn't give you trample or anything. No, thank you. One of the worst tricks. Bye bye. D minus. I don't see my. If I want this, I'm gonna pick it on pick 13. If I really want this.
Furnace Toast Charger, 5 red for a creature Phyrexian Giant. This is a 5/5 with haste and mountain cycling 2. 5/5 haste is big. That's like a large, unexpected swing of how the combat step is going to go once you hit your 6th land. Um, so I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I think we've seen this card looks really familiar to me from Ikoria. What's that?
Yeah,
Lava, whatever.
yeah,
Lava
it was
serpent.
the same card, but it had like normal cycling
Normal
force.
cycling, yeah.
Yeah.
Normal cycling is probably better for a card like this, to be perfectly honest. But I still actually don't mind this body at all.
I think land
And it's
cycling
like,
is actually better, but
oh
whatever.
yeah, I guess I'll just pass it to you. I'm gonna give this a C and pass it to you to help me understand that.
Yeah, I think land cycling is better because when, like, if you are hitting your land drops, you're very happy to have this at the top end of your curve, and you kind of are gonna cycle these cards when you need lands, and cycling doesn't help you hit lands necessarily. It helps, but it doesn't guarantee you a land, unlike these. And if you're just drawing lands, well, you'll just play this card out eventually. So I do kind of like this more than Lava Serpent, but Lava Serpent also had some cycling synergy, I guess. Overall, I do think this is a better Magic card. Yeah, this looks pretty good. It's like, I think the white cycler is probably better, but this does like provide. Oh, this does very different things. This wants to attack, like red generally does. But it does it pretty well. Like 6 mana, 5/5 haste. It's pretty big. It's not that much over. It's not that much overcosted. Like for 5 mana, 5/5 haste would be really good.
Yeah.
And you add 1 mana into it, and now yeah, it's not good. It's not good, but it has the mountain cycling dex, which makes it, I think, again solid. Not too excited about this, but like I think I'm always gonna be happy with one, maybe even actively looking for one. Chew starts getting a little bit weird, but maybe I'm fine running Chew as well. Like it gives you something expensive to cast in your aggressive or mid-range decks, which is nice. And unlike most people think, you're actually fine cycling for lands even in aggressive decks. I'm on a C or a C minus for this. I'm gonna start as a C minus, but I can definitely see it going to a C.
I'm on a D+. I don't care about this card. I think it's very small. 6 mana, 5/5 haste.
Okay, Lola, do you think this is better than all the other land cyclers except the white?
The black one was like a 5/5.
Yeah, it was a 7-drop.
It was a 7/7/7 drop. The
blue one was 5/6 with island walking or something.
I think it's
No, not island walking. Tap 2 creatures. I don't remember.
I think it's comparable, but maybe better. I don't know if it's better than the blue one. Probably better than the black one.
Oh, I think it's like a decent amount better than the blue one. Okay.
But I don't think I gave anything.
No, that's what I'm saying. You gave them both D pluses, I think.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
I think this is a lot better than both of those.
Yeah. Might be a bit better, but nothing too much. Like I'm still picking it as a D+. I really don't care about this as my 6-drop, even though I can look for a land. 2 mana is a lot to pay for mountain cycling as well.
Anger Scrounger, 2 red, 3 mana total for a creature dwarf pilot, which is a 2/1 with backup 1. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So if you back up on itself, it's a 3/2 that rummages when you attack, which is horrible. I hate that. You can technically crew vehicles, right? That's a Kaladesh thing. That was like a Kaladesh thing back then.
You can convoke.
It's true, you can convoke. Yeah, you can convoke with this. That's like reasonable. Rummaging immediately by putting the backup on your 2-drop. I mean, okay, well, putting a backup counter on your 2-drop and like poking in for 3 damage with like a 2/2 that is now a 3/3 is actually like pretty reasonable. But overall, I'm like pretty unexcited to have this at my 3-drop slot. The body's a little small. and you do have to have like those extra side synergies to sort of get like a little bit of extra mileage out of it. But this seems like nothing exciting to me. I think this is a C minus.
Yeah, I think this card kind of stinks.
Stinks, yes.
Yeah, 3 mana, 3/2. When Rummage is when it gets tapped with some upside. Seems bad. The problem is also that you want to play this on 3, put a counter on your 2-drop. At that point in the game, you don't generally care that much about rummaging. If it looted, sure, because looting is always really nice, but the problem is that you have to first decide what to discard and
Yeah.
you're not, and so on. You don't really, like, it doesn't really do that much on turn 3. Later on, sure, it does do something, but it's still a 3 mana 3/2, and it's like kind of bad early, not anything special late. I'm on a D minus for this. I think this is just bad.
I'm on a D or a D plus. Yeah, I think it's pretty stinky. Like this is comparable to Ravnica Allegiance 3/2 with Riot with the same effect but no backup, right? And that was really bad. That was really bad. I'm still on a D plus. Like sometimes you just maybe want some backup creatures. I can see this going down to like a D, but gonna start it as a D plus. It's nothing special. Chat is mostly on a C minus as well. Well, yeah, nothing much to add.
Way more into this as a nice bridge. Like if you have a couple cards that synergize with backup, like you have, I guess the ones that like actually double counters are definitely rares. But if you sort, it's a nice 23rd card in both the backup decks, and I actually think it performed better in the Convoke decks.
How backup decks? Like what are backup decks?
What are backup decks?
Yeah,
I mean,
like what?
Your decks that care about like having. Now you're testing me. Now you're testing me.
Yeah.
What are backup decks?
And it's a real question because there's a really nice backup uncommon, signpost uncommon. That's the only one that where I really care about backup, I think.
I think it's mostly just making something with a good keyword a little bigger, whether it be flying or lifelink.
It's pretty cool with crewing, but there's not that many vehicles. It's
good with Halo Hopper.
This is where you get the. This is where the what's the name? Not Saga. Battle shines, right? Because this.
Oh yeah, the Thopter one.
Yeah, the 0/4. Anyways, I don't care about this card. D plus, I think it's. I'm in the middle of you two.
Okay. So basically, what Scotty is saying, and what I'm getting from this is that Halo Hopper is basically just good with everything.
Halo Hopper is good with everything. Yes.
Yeah. Halo Hopper is basically amazing. I'm actually probably.
We're memeing so much, I might actually raise the grade of the card by accident.
No. I'm actually gonna raise it probably at a C. I've been thinking about it, and I think the card is pretty good, like pretty solid.
Yeah.
Are you feeling okay?
I was the Halo Hopper guy, right?
Wait, okay. Are Halo Hopper grades? Lola, you have it at C minus, and C, you're at a D. I'm at a D plus. Are you raising your grade?
Yeah, full letter grade up C.
Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
I'll go to C minus.
Let's go. I think it might be a C. I think I'm not gonna raise it yet, but yeah, let's go.
It kind of gets like a half a grade up because it's funny.
Halo
I
Hopper.
feel like I should go to C plus.
What?
No, I'm not going to C. I'm at C minus.
Halo Hopper crew. Let's go. I think it's gonna be fine. Next one.
Tarsis Depth Guard, 2 in a red for a creature Viashino Warrior, which is a 4/3, has Defender. As long as Tarsis Depth Guard's power is 5 or greater, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. Look, it's the backup deck.
Backup deck,
Bam!
baby.
Take that, Lola. Gosh, this is unappealing. I mean, it blocks well, actually. I think that's probably like the superpower of this deck. You know, like honestly speaking, like you look at this and be like, oh, like it's a backup card, you know, because like that's how you put A and B together. But I don't know. Maybe it's better just in your defensive Convoke deck where you really want a 3-drop that will definitely trade off with something. And if it doesn't, it'll just sit there and help you Convoke your draw spells.
How much do you want to trade with in your Convoke deck?
Probably not. Probably not. But like, like 4/3, it'll trade with their like 4-drop or maybe even 5-drop, which is like pretty reasonable as a, like a defensive body. I don't know. I don't care about this. I don't really care about this at all. This is like a D for me.
There's also equipment?
Yeah. Yeah, Drowsing Tyrannodon, this is not.
No, no.
Unfortunately. Because I think Red could have used something like that. But yeah, my 3-drop that can't attack me, I guess if I put the counter on it, it can attack on 5 or on 4. But in any other scenario, it's bad, really bad. Like it is actually kind of good if you can put a counter on it and attack on turn 4. But the problem again is that it's like, yeah, it's just not good if you can't do that. I'm gonna D as well, and maybe even I'm fine with that D, I guess. I think this is better than the last card at least.
I'm gonna D plus. I think it's okay. It's not very good though, but I mean you can put a equipment on it, like the +1/+1 vigilance.
That's gas.
That's pretty good. But you kind of have to do it if you want to attack, right? The problem is like you gotta do it. And Pteranodon was like 2 mana, 3/3, and you just get a counter there or play something else that's a little bit bigger. So many ways to just so it starts attacking, and you're fine if it starts attacking later, because like 2 mana 3/3 is really good stats. Now 3 mana 4/3 is good stats, but I don't think it's comparable to 2 mana 3/3 with a way better effect. So yeah, just a D plus. I think it's okay. I think it's gonna find a place in some decks.
This holds a beat stick pretty well.
Was a bit the bit stick is the menace?
Yeah, the menace
Yeah,
treasure
pretty
maker.
good.
Marauding Dreadship, 2 red, 3 mana total for an artifact vehicle. It's a 4/1 with haste. When Marauding Dreadship enters the battlefield, incubate 2, and it also has crew 2. I'm actually kind of into this. I'm actually kind of into this card. The fact that it's like 2 pieces of cardboard. Obviously, like if this is your first play of the game, you can't really. It's quite slow. You have to pay the extra 2 to incubate before you can even crew this and trade it off with something. But if you have any sort of reasonable curve, right, you just use your 2-drop to crew this, get in for an extra 4 damage, and then once this trades off, you still have the extra 2/2 left behind. So I think this does a lot for a common. Actually, there's a lot of text on this. I'm pretty into this. This is like a C+ for me.
Yeah, I like this as well. It's like 5 mana, 4/1 that comes with choo-choo. Yeah, sure, you have to crew this, but it's not like this vehicle does have 4 power, and so it's not like your opponent can really let this through that much, and does have haste. So, like, one of the problems with vehicles is that you can't use them on offense and defense, or like you have to tap 2 creatures down to use them on offense, and then on defense it's still like 1 creature. But this does give you the driver for the vehicle, and also, yeah, your opponent probably has to trade. I think it's pretty nice value for 3, and just go 2-drop into this, and they probably have to trade. I'm fine trading this with the 2-drop, and God forbid if they don't have a 2-drop and they get in for 4. Yeah, I'm also on a C+ or a C. I'll join you at C+, I believe.
Same. I'm also not sure if it's a C+ or C. Because it is like if you have nothing on turn 2, if you play it on turn 3, like I don't feel too good about it. But it is a 4/1. The crew 2, this would be so nice if it was crew 1, so you're like some of your 1-drops can crew it. That would be really nice, especially in black, right? Where you have the 1 mana 1/1 and a 2 mana 1/1, which are both kind of good. That would do a lot for this card, I think. So I'm gonna just start it as a C, but I can definitely see it going up. Chet is also on like C around C mostly. Seems like so far we are just agreeing with the chat. Maybe we should let them do the tier list.
I'm also putting in my grade, so I would hope I agree with myself.
Don't put your grade, Scotty.
Fine, I won't type my grade into the chat.
Let's see what chat thinks.
Mirren Bane Splitter, red, for an artifact equipment, has flash. When Mirren Bane Splitter enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has equip 3. I hate this card, actually a lot. So here's how this is going to work. No toughness boost on your equipment means that your creature trades off more. Creature trades off more means you're going to have to equip it more. Equipping 3 is physically impossible. That's an impossible cost to pay. It's so expensive. You're just gonna have to pay your entire retirement savings just to equip this to another creature. I think this is pretty poor, right? Like you get your first bit of value, and then in the hyper late game, then your creatures like your small 2-drop that you draw later on will be a little bit more threatening. Don't love it. It's like a D- or a D for me. I'm gonna go for a D.
Yeah, I don't like this. This is kind of like the flash equipment from.
It's better?
Yeah, I was thinking what said it was HPG. No,
AFR.
AFR, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, maybe HPG had it as well, I think.
Yeah, maybe, and the card was really bad.
Yes.
Well, in AFR it was like passable if you had some like enough equipment carrying stuff, but you had a lot of like or a decent amount of equipment in that set. You don't have any in here. No, if I want this kind of an effect, I would just rather play the Convoke 2-drop that we saw earlier. That 2 creatures get +2 and +0 and can haste until end of turn.
Equip 1 would be gas.
Yeah, if this had a cheaper equip cost, sure, but it's so expensive to move around. Equip 1 would be just a strict upgrade from Bone Splitter.
This is gas with a double striker.
Yeah, I guess, but I could play a card that just gives my double striker a counter or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna give this a D-.
I mean, there are some 1/1 tokens, I guess. There is like a common first striker in red, a common double striker in white. But then there's like, I think, enough tricks and better equipment that you're not gonna have room for this in those colors where it feels better. So I'm gonna start it as a D. Not very exciting.
I'll go D-. This card stinks.
It's very stinky.
Onake Javelineer, 4 and a red for creature ogre spirit. It's a 5/4 with reach. Tap it. Onake Javelineer deals 2 damage to target player or battle. You don't even have to pay mana to tap this.
Yeah.
So if this is sort of on a cluttered board, let's say for example your opponent has a pair of bears, and you don't want to charge your 5-drop into a pair of bears. This will just then clock your opponent or a battle. For a 5-drop, not saying I want a ton of these. This is pretty good. I think this is pretty stinking good. Like the stats on this are acceptable. Reach is very nice, just for like random 5-drop that you're just gonna have lying around anyway. And a lot of the issue with vanilla creatures, in my opinion, or vanilla stats, in my opinion, especially at common level, is that like sure on turn 5 specifically, they'll probably be the biggest thing on the battlefield, but then your opponent just develops any other creature on like turn 6 or 7, and then all of a sudden it can't attack because then their blocks are just much better, yeah, unless you have a combat trick. But this sort of circumvents that, and I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of into this as a 5-drop. I think this is like a C for me.
I like this.
Yeah, I like this as well. It's like reach is also very nice on your 5-drop that can actually trade with all stuff or block everything, and it just clocks your opponent decently fast. Like it kind of reminds me of something like Rabble. It's not as good, not nearly as good. It's a 5-drop, and yeah. But it kind of like does block and attack at the same time. And it also can finish off battles, which we haven't been able to finish. Maybe you haven't had good attacks. That's really nice. I think red does want to play battles. Like I have been thinking about battles anyway, and I was like, I probably should go down white battles maybe a little bit, and maybe I didn't rate blue and black battles high, but like I don't think killing battles is that easy, and I also don't think it's that profitable. Like you're losing a lot of damage when you're trying to kill battles. But red and green do kill battles very well, and then you just finishes them off. Real nice. I'm gonna give this a C as well.
Yeah, I'm okay having good amount of this. Like, let's forget about battles, right? Just it blocks well, and just 2 damage per turn after the first turn seems pretty decent. Like, hey, imagine playing 2 of these on the board, right? And like 4 damage per turn, while having blockers for flyers as well, is kind of a nightmare to deal with. And this is like, I think this is very big for battles, because as I've said, same with the planeswalkers, when you're clearing a battle, when you're attacking it, you are gonna be dealing way more damage, like a good amount more damage than the actual defense counters, because the opponent is gonna have blockers, you're gonna have to attack with more things. Now this helps you like not have that final push for clearing the battle where you're like, okay, just tap this, got a battle at instant speed, and it's gonna feel really good. I am gonna put this on... I rarely give like 5 drops high grades, but I'm gonna put this on a C+. I think this is one of the best 5 drops we've seen. Like
getting battles, threatening to get a battle at instant speed, especially if they're creatures, is pretty strong.
And just like a lot of times there's gonna be like 2 taps and you clear the battle. Maybe attack with one thing and clear it right away. This is really nice. It is a 5 drop, so I can see it going down. I can definitely see this going to like a C or a C minus. Because this is a 5 drop. You cannot put as many 5 drops in your deck as you want, which is a big deal. But I do like it a lot. I like everything about it. With battles, without battles.
Pyretic Prankster, 1 and a red for 2 mana for a creature devil. It's a 2/1, and you can pay 3 and a Phyrexian black to transform Pyretic Prankster. Activate only as a sorcery. Flips into Glistening Goremonger, which is a 3/2, and when it dies, each opponent sacrifices an artifact or a creature. Yeah, front side's stinky. It's a 2-drop though. Backside is not super impressive either. I believe the only times that this is going to be impressive is sort of on like the first 5 turns, probably, when like they're actually, when you have a little bit more agency of, or rather when the board is smaller, right? So like you can be a little bit more sure about trading off with at least something of value instead of something that's been outclassed already. So it's not like the best thing about these transform cards, right, is that you can play a 2-drop and that you can sink mana into it later so that they become later relevant in the later game. This doesn't really do that at all. You're paying 3 mana and maybe 2 life or maybe even 4 mana, so that this gets like +1/+1 and like, potentially kills just like a token. So I'm not into it, but I'm still going to give this a fine grade because it's a 2-drop. And I think as far as 2-drops go, like I think this is like a lot better than at least just a vanilla creature.
Yeah, I think this kind is fine. I think it's like slightly better than the blue transform card. Same stats, same transform cost maybe. Well, actually red would kind of want the blue transform card more, and blue would kind of want this transform card more, I think. But anyway, yeah, this is okay. It's a 2-drop with some additional nice upside, like the backside is kind of a 2-for-1, even though it's extremely clunky, and so it's actually not really a 2-for-1. It kind of is and kind of isn't. It depends. I love using it depends. Yeah, 2-drop. Okay, I'm gonna give it a C or a C minus. I don't think. I'll go C. I don't think red. No. I'll go C minus. I don't think red really needs mediocre two drops basically. Unlike blue, I think blue will pick them like. I think blue will actually pick the true one as like a C plus because it just wants it over even like in some scenarios over like B level cards even.
Because you need two
I
drops. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think red really needs it. Red will get to 3 good two drops, which I think are all basically better than this in every red deck.
3? Okay. Oh, okay. That's a lot. Wait, I didn't think it's 3. Okay, let's see. Maybe. But
Oh, and I counted the removal spell, so yeah.
aha, okay. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna C minus. It's still a fine two drop and so on. Like I probably will play this most of the time because I can't. Like in an aggressive deck, you can't that easily overload and choose, and there's definitely some late game applications. But
I think with battles being present, it's kind of important for early drops to have decent stats.
yeah, I agree.
To not be like 2-1s, 1-3s, and things like that. I think it's important for them to like either attack well or block well. They need to be able to attack. Oh, my bad. My like defender is a very crappy thing, but they need to be good in combat. Because sometimes opponents is just gonna snowball auto control with clearing one battle where you really had outlast 2 drops and 3 drops and you didn't even present enough damage to their face after they cleared the battle, and now you can't attack as they got another creature. So I'm not very excited about 2 mana 2-1s, but I mean this is fine to flip on turn 3. Even the opponent, you kind of are not gonna block the next attack if opponent has only 1 creature. But it's also like really nice late game 2 drop. You can just spend 5 mana to life or 6 mana if you're black, and have like a creature that's way better than a 2 drop. And so I don't think that's nothing. And I'm gonna start it as a C. I think this is fine. Like the transform part is pretty good, I think. Because it does let you, like, opponent maybe just stops attacking if they have 2 creatures, like once you flip it. So it's pretty good defensively. It's not very good offensively, I think. Even though you play a battle and opponent kind of, oh fuck, I want to block, but you spend so much mana on this in early turns that you're not gonna clear that battle. So there is that. But I still think it's a C. Doesn't do anything particularly well, but it's okay, and it has very nice late game.
What grade did you give it? Sorry. C?
C.
Okay. Rouse reinforcements, 1 and a red for a sorcery. Create 2 1/1 blue and red elemental creature tokens. 2 1/1s for 2 mana is not good in a vacuum. They don't particularly attack at all. Like, they can't even attack into a 2/2. They're like okay at blocking, you know, and they're definitely pretty good at preserving life total if you need to like chump like a larger creature for 2 turns. However, there's a couple nice overlaps in the set, right? This is probably the cheapest, fastest way to get out good Convokers early.
Yeah.
Right. This is the card for that. And also, as a side or as another synergy, you can also sack them in the late game, right? Like this is like double sack fodder for your stupid like Aki scrap. No, sorry, you can't sacrifice creatures for something else that sacrifice creatures to get value, something like that. Overall, I actually think that's a big deal. I actually especially think it's a big deal that this is the cheapest way to get creatures out super quick for Convoke. And to that extent, I think this is a C plus and going to be pretty highly desirable.
Yeah, I really like this card. I actually do kind of disagree. I think 1/1s are not the best attacking, but I do think they are better at blocking than a Choo-Choo, for example, like 2 1/1s. So like this card blocks pretty well for a 2-drop. They also do in some scenarios attack as well as 2 drops or almost like it. it doesn't really like your opponent's redrops are kind of gonna blank them anyway, often, and you're gonna use removal or combat tricks to push through damage, or something else. I guess these are like kind of worse with counters than a choo-choo or something. Also good at preserving your own battles, or like not letting your opponent flip your battles. Decent at flipping battles, just because you kind of have two attackers and they probably can't just eat both and keep their battles alive. Like sometimes you're just fine trading like, or jump attacking with one of them to get a battle down. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a corner piece in every single red deck. Maybe outside of red, white. And possibly red, green as well. But I think there is... I think it's kind of good enough in both of the decks still. Because there is some Convoke, for example, in both. And there are some sacrifice like elements in both. Because of red. I guess sacrifice not so much. But red has some solid Convoke cards. And just making 2/1/1s is solid. I'm between a C plus and a B minus. I'm just gonna start as a B minus because I think it's gonna perform like a B or a B plus in some decks.
Very good, Scotty.
A C plus, pretty close to B minus though. I could be convinced easily.
I don't think it's a quite B minus. One thing to note is like, I don't think there's a huge number of X1 creatures. What are the good ones?
If I remember correctly, it's about the same as in most other sets. Like the same as in last set, about the same as in most sets. Like I think I saw a graph of how many 1 toughness creatures there are, and it's about the same in this set.
Yeah, but the ones that you are fine trading with, it's like the 2/1 for... There's the red 2/1 that is so... there's the blue 2/1, and I think there's one good one in green, but the one that's a rails 3/1.
I think it's about the same. I personally think it's about the same in this set.
That's kind of it. That's kind of it. Plus those 2/1s can be transformed into not 2/1s, but that's kind of it. That's that. So I don't think it's very good in that case. It's like one has infinitely more X1s because you're making X1s as 1/1s as well. I'm okay with a C plus. Like it's gonna be real nice. Like in Convoke decks, if you're into sacrifice, that can help as well. And I think it's gonna be fine. Like to have even mid game, late game, when opponent is trying to clear a battle, it's gonna be fine to chump with one of these and kind of mess up their attacks. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But yeah, I'm okay with the C plus. I don't think it's gonna get to B minus.
There is like 10 commons that I'm happy playing that this blocks. Plus there are at least 2 more that make 1/1s. At least this can trade with the 1/1s, which is basically the same for both players.
What? There's like 3 or something. Which 10?
Aetherblade Agent, I think people are gonna play it, even though it's not good.
The Death Toucher?
Yeah, the Dutcher.
Okay.
Then there is the Ramicher, though I didn't count because I don't think people are gonna play it. There is the one that sacks an artifact or a land, which I think actually a decent amount of red decks will play a one-off. This can trade with Eco Drinker, which is not like great, but it's still nice. I will definitely.
Okay. 1 second. Like 1 second. Wait. The 1/1s, those kind of bad 1/1s, like you get a 2/2 and you don't have to trade with it. That 1/1.
Yes.
So that's like not good for this card.
No, that's still fine.
Okay. Come on. Also the 2/1 has a backup.
Yes.
So opponent can put it there.
It's not like they're gonna put it there. Anyway, continuing. There is Informant. There is the 4/1.
Please don't use names in like first hours of the tier list.
Oh, sorry. There is the Vehicle that we just saw. There is the...
Yeah, Vehicle is good. Vehicle is good, yeah.
Discard card in black, which again is kind of similar to Eco Drinker. You're definitely fine trading for them, but it's not anything good. There is Order of the Mirror. That's the blue 2/1. Then there is a solid green 1-drop, but it's kind of similar to the black 1-drop. Then there is the 2/1 in red. There is one backup card in green. Then there is the 3/1 in white, which can get first strike, but when it can, this is extremely good at blocking it, and this can also attack into it. And then there is a good 3/1 for 2 in green.
Yeah. I don't agree with most of those, just because like some of those 1/1s that
The thing is, what I'm saying is that 1/1s do like 1/1s are basically always just they block well. They are you're like way underrating how well 1/1 blocks. I think.
Oh, I'm not saying that
It's
one
just
ones
a
don't
normal
block well.
scenario.
I'm just saying that's not at all what I'm saying. I think one ones block very well. 1/1s are very underrated. Like people are like, oh, what can a 1/1 do? I mean, what can a 3/3 do if opponent has a 6/6? A lot. It can double block. It can jump. It can attack. You can present a trick. Like 1/1 is a real creature. I completely agree with that. I'm just saying like that there is not like overabundance of X1 creatures where this gets over the top, where you're like, yeah, this opponent just has to stop attacking with their 2-drop or a 3-drop.
Yeah, sure.
Because like, if you trade this for a 2/2, it's fine. You're both happy, probably. But if your opponent has like a 3/1, if there's a lot of those or 2/1s, the opponent really doesn't want to trade with this, and that's like that feels devastating. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to say.
Yeah, but the 1/1s also do double block pretty well, like you said that they do.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like you're not that unhappy if your opponent uses like you block with a 3/3 and a 1/1 on like a 3/4, let's say. You're not that unhappy if your opponent uses a trick there. It's like okay, so they're like double block deceptively well, even though they only have 1 toughness. Because
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
okay, if you can double block, yeah,
Yeah,
and the
1/1s are
double
not
block is good for you.
can be, but 1/1s are not chump blockers. Like that's not how you use them most of the time.
Yeah.
You know that's how people do like to use them, like very early. But yeah, no, I agree. 1/1s are fine. I just don't think it's gonna get to a B minus. I'm mostly into this with Convoke.
Yeah, I'm closer to a B than a C plus personally, but
Hull Hopper, baby.
yeah, exactly.
Hull Hopper might be real nice, huh? Next up,
Red Cap Heel Slasher, 3 red, 4 mana total for a creature Goblin Rogue. It's a 2/3 with backup 1 and first strike. Interesting card. So like if you think about putting the counter on itself, this is a 3/4 first strike for 4 mana, which is real stats. Like that is not bad at all actually. First strike is a great ability. Yeah. An interesting thing about backup here is that first strike is one of the better abilities to increase power. Like the amount of combats you can win with each additional point of power on a first striker gets like, it's pretty significant, right? The difference between a 2-powered first striker and a 3-powered first striker is huge. So like this is one of the backup creatures that I'd be like way more incentivized to just put it on itself rather than like just push through even like my 2-drop or even like a 3-drop, unless that 3-drop also has like great keywords and abilities. So yeah, this card as a 3/4 first striker is fine stats, with a little bit extra flexibility. I'm not excited to pick any of these up. It's a little bit expensive, right? So I don't want to overload on anything like this. But if I have this in my deck, I don't think that's embarrassing at all. This is C- for me.
C minus? That's kind of low.
Yeah, I do like alone 4 mana 3/4 first strike. I think is fine, but this has a lot of upside over that because this single-handedly, unlike a lot of the other backup cards, single-handedly enables an attack basically always when you play it in Neo. In Neo, what the fuck? Why did I suddenly put Neo into this card?
What happened?
Anyway, I don't know. It single-handedly enables attacks because first strike, like putting a +1/+1 counter on something during first strike, it becomes basically impossible to block if you play this on curve. Yeah, and it's a nice, like I would still prefer to put counters on something else because I'm getting 1 damage extra and also enabling an attack. But I agree, this is also okay to put a it's okay to put a counter here. It does kind of block really well though. Like if you put a counter on somewhere else, you enable an attack, it kind of attacks when it comes down to some degree. And it is pretty hard to attack into. Even like a 2/3 first striker is kind of difficult to attack into. Some 3-drops do attack into those. Very few 2-drops attack into them. But yeah, it kind of attacks well, it blocks well, whereas combat tricks well, whereas counters well. Yeah, I like this card. I'm on a C or a C plus.
Give it a C plus.
Sure, let's go with the C plus.
I'm okay with C plus, man. It's, let's see, like the floor of this card. 3/4 first strike, no text. I love that.
Okay, I don't.
I love that for 4 mana. It is
Actually, I kind of love that. I'm probably up to a C.
like I love that. Like multiples of these perfect. Like you have 2 of these on the battlefield. The more you have, like how
Yes, first strike does spell well. First strike does play well with other first strike.
Yeah.
creatures.
like attacks become miserable from the opponent, and if you really want to, like even 2/3 first strike like blanks so many 2-drops and 3-drops, and you basically guarantee an attack from another creature with this. This is also a really nice way to clear battles, but I mean I'm just so happy with a 4 mana 3/4 first strike. It's a nightmare to block as well, like especially against anything at instant speed. This can also, like clearing battles with this, for example, like your Gruul, and you play that treasure battle, which is nothing too special, and you can just clear it almost by playing this. I don't know, you have 5 mana, you play the treasure battle for 2, get a treasure, and play this, and enable some attack, and its opponent probably just chumps, which is pretty damn good. There are also like 2 mana and 3 mana battles in... there's a 2 mana battle in red, which is pretty good, so you can combo it with this. I like this a lot. I'm on a high C+, and I can see it going up as well. I can see easily this going to B-. I think this is one of the better red commons.
Yeah, I'm sold. I'm sold all the way up to C+, but still 4-drop.
Chet is around C as well.
Searing Barb, 2 and a red for a sorcery. Searing Barb deals 2 damage to any target. If it's a creature, it can't block this turn. Incubate 1. This is a 3 mana sorcery that will remove your opponent's early plays and kind of not really remove anything after that. There's an emergency button that you can hit if you're really trying to clear a battle, if you're really trying to like poke in the last bits of damage, right? To like make some larger thing not block and come in. Incubate 1. The good thing about an Incubate 1 token is that you feel much less bad just sacking it before you flip it. that's a great upside of Incubate 1.
Yay!
Yay! This is it's a real problem that your non-creature slot cannot answer, or like your non-creature quote unquote removal slot can't answer the threats that you want to answer. That's really, really bad. And the rate on this, especially as a sorcery, is really, really bad. And overall, I think this is quite bad. D+ for me.
Yeah, this is kind of like improvised weaponry from AF.
Yeah, I wanted to compare it to that.
Yeah, which was actually pretty solid in that set. Like
Kind of hated it.
Yeah, hated
Okay,
it as well.
I kind of liked it. I would give it like a C in that set. But the problem is that the incubate, like the treasure token, treasure always does something. It adds you mana. It's really nice. Incubate 1 token, it kind of doesn't do anything. Let's be real. You have to pay 2 mana to make it into a creature. That said, it does do something if you are playing red-black. But I think this is worse, but it's like similar to improvised weaponry in red-black. And I think I'm gonna be happy playing this in red-black. That said, I don't think I'm gonna be happy playing this in any other red deck. So I'll give it a D+ as well.
Yeah, I'm just on a D+ as well. I wanted to ask you guys what you think about comparing it to weaponry, but you already answered that. So, D+, it's nothing to write home about. Not be able to block can be okay sometimes, but it's a 3 mana to do that. And
Yeah.
It's just like if you care about that artifact, sacrifice that artifact, it's nice. Might be that it's just better to make a treasure a lot of times, but still, like, none of those cards are really good, I think.
Yeah, what I wanted to say. Oh, did you finish?
I'm just gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
Okay. Yeah,
Go on without me.
Yeah, I want to say quickly, it's kind of like I think it goes up to like a C minus in red black, but it's like goes to a D, maybe even less, but let's say like a D in the deck. That's my thinking. Oh, Scotty went as well. Okay, let me read the next card then. We can do this alone. That's nice. Now we can shrink the time we used to basically by 90% because Lola uses 50% of our time and Scotty uses 40% and I use 10%. Okay. Shatter the Source, 5 in the red, instant, convoke. Choose one. It deals 6 damage to target creature, planeswalker, or battle. Destroy target artifact. I surprisingly enough like this a little bit. Generally, these kinds of effects, we see 5 mana. Usually it's 5 mana removal, like the expensive removal in red, which has a couple times been good. Mainly it was good in Midnight Hunt. It was one of the better red commons. Red, it kind of sucked, but it was one of the better red commons in that set. It dealt 2 damage to face though. But it is not hard to imagine this being cheaper, like 4, 3, whatever. Sure, it's kind of awkward with the red trying to be aggressive, like you have to attack. And then, yeah, convoking is a little bit weird, but I like there's a decent amount. It kind of kills just about anything. And the convoke really helps this card out a lot. It's not insane to even imagine casting this for like 2 to 3 in some nice curve outs. And yeah, you can't attack, but I think it kind of is okay enough that you can't attack when you want to cast this. Like I think it's fine. At least you can block. And well, then in blue red, I guess gets better a little bit. This is still a little bit clunky, and it does have like a pretty bad fail case when you don't have a lot of creatures. So I'm like kind of want to give it a C plus, but I'm gonna start this as C. I think it's like an actively solid removal spell, which I usually don't say about this.
I think this is shockingly playable, right? Like this is pretty pushed for this slot of card usually in this set. I was actually most shocked as an instant.
Yeah,
for this sort of clunky thing. This answers everything that you want to answer. And I'm like actively looking to have like one in my red decks. This is a C for me as well.
Lola, what's your grade? We can continue. Oh yeah, fuck, Lola also has to change the card. Never mind. Lola.
C for Shatter the Source. All right.
Okay, Lola likes it as well. Nice. Unfortunately, we didn't spend that much time talking about this.
Okay, next card is Halo Hopper, which is 3 mana, three colorless, 3 mana total for a artifact creature, which is I think type line just a frog, and it's a 3/2 with Convoke, which is the best card in the set. It's an A.
Yep.
You can play Halo Hopper on turn 2 if you start off with a 1-drop and then Ral's Reinforcements, and then just slam Halo Hopper as well.
That's the dream curve.
That's kind of realistic, actually.
Yeah, it is. Especially in something like red-white. Because I think white has probably the most playable 1-drops / good 1-drops.
Okay, I'm happy we all rose on Halo Hopper.
Yeah, I thought about it, and it's kind of just nice. Like adding a 3/2 to your board for pretty cheap. Yeah, like 3/2 is always gonna matter, and it's even on like turn 2. It's not embarrassing by any means. And I think pretty often you can just use it to double spell on turn 3, which is pretty powerful on its own, right?
You already pushed it to a C.
Did I push the Halo Hopper to C?
Or maybe C minus? Let me see.
No, it was C minus from the beginning.
No, I wrote it down as a C for you, so I misheard you the first time. So I put it at your future grade. I read your mind in the future.
Okay. No, you changed the grade when you changed yours then. Because I saw it C minus
maybe.
a little bit earlier. But yeah, okay. I just gave it a C. I like it. I like it a lot. The last card. I mean, for what it is, might go even up than that, higher than that.
The Rashing Frontliner, 1 red, 2 mana total for a creature Phyrexian Viashino. This is a 2/2 with trample. When Thrashing Frontliner attacks a battle, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If you play a battle, sort of any time on curve after that, like in any reasonable start of your deck, this will win it. Like, this is extremely potent as a 3/3 attacker for just 2 mana. That's like nothing to scoff at. This will be the biggest, baddest 2-drop in the set, actually. When your game plan is about developing early and then dropping a battle and finishing it, which I think is actually totally reasonable, for especially for like red green. Like, that's just gonna be the main thing that you do. Premium 2-drop to me, C+.
Yeah, I think this kind of also plays well with the other red things. Maybe less so in something like red-black. But blue-red and green, white-red. White-red has counters, backup things. Trample is a really nice thing to put the counters onto. Strong keyword. Also, there's combat tricks very well. Like, if I only had these, I would be actually happy playing Coming in Hot even in my deck. But obviously all of your creatures don't have trample. Yeah, and it attacks battles as a 3/3, and I think red overall is pretty good at dealing with battles. I just like the red battles. If I'm red, I'm probably gonna have some battles. Because red has a good time flipping them, or it has an easy time flipping them, I think we'll have. And the 3/3 attacker, or 3/3 trample for 2 is massive. It's huge. And the floor is the 2 mana 2/2 trample. I love the card. C+.
I'll give it a C+ as well. But if you have the more battles you have, the higher you take this. It goes to B range for sure. And I really like red battles, so let's go.
Maybe I'm on a B-.
Okay.
I'm also on a B-. I raised my grade. Like, I think the primary game plan for a lot of these battle-based decks will just be, like, you don't really care that your 2/2 is going to get outmoded when it starts attacking face, because like, you get value off the battle and you get another piece of value, and that's you're just going to rely on that snowball to win you instead, right? So I don't think I really care that this only gets +1/+1 in attacks battle, so I think this card is great.
Yeah, and the thing about, like, let's say red-white, is, yeah, counters, really nice, but the red battles are pretty good, and the white battles are also, like, decent. And then this is really good with the uncommon red-white battle.
It
Single-handedly flips the battle, and you're probably gonna have like 1 on average in your red-white deck. So I kind of like it a lot in red-white because of backup and the battles being pretty good. And then a lot in red-green. And I think it can be okay, like, it's still okay in blue-red and red-black, especially in blue-red, I think, because you do have, like, the shape graph, the one thing that turns something into a 4/3, and that's pretty nice with this.
Yeah.
But less so good, but I guess blue does need some 2-drops as well, so it kind of gets a bump there. Yeah, B-, but I could honestly see it going even up from that.
I'm gonna start as a C+ still. But definitely, like, in a lot of decks, it's for sure a B. Somewhere around the B-, B. Really, really good for clearing battles. And I really like red battles. We're gonna get to that soon.
Trailblazing Historian, 1 in a red for creature Human Shaman. It's a 1/3 with haste, and you can tap it to have another target creature gain haste until end of turn. Effects similar to this have been good for a couple reasons. One being that it's a 1-drop, so that you can actually start your aggressive curve starting on 2, which I think is massive. This completely misses out on. Or in the case of like Axe Guard Cavalry from Kaldheim, which is a 2/2, that's a bear. And a 1/3 I think is a lot better than a bear. Overall, I think that the 1/3 stat line being awkward in terms of blocking, in terms of completing battles, in terms of actually just having raw aggression in your decks where you sort of want this effect anyway, I don't think is fantastic, and I think this is a pretty undesirable 2-drop, and I mostly want all the other ones more than it. This is D+ for me.
Yeah, I'm actually surprisingly okay with this one, I think. It's kind of comparable to X-Head Cavalry, but I think it might be slightly better, even though the stats are worse, because you get in for 1 on turn 2 with this, and you didn't that much attack with X-Head Cavalry either, and you're not gonna attack with this either that often. And I think red-green especially, though the other red drop is better for red-green, no question. But I think red-green especially kind of likes giving its creatures haste. Like, imagine giving the 4/3 menace haste that we're gonna see soon, and it just insta-flip battles. So I don't hate this. It does have pretty heavy diminishing returns. And also this can, if you top deck it late, and you still have something in your hand, you can instantly or you can give them haste as well, because it has haste itself. I'm gonna C- for this, I think.
I will D+. I really hate the 1/3 stat line. It does have haste on its own, so that helps. But yeah, I really don't like too much 1/3s.
Yeah, same.
Unless they have really good effect. Chat is more with you, NCA.
Yeah, obviously, because I'm generally the most correct out of us. So.
Okay.
That's true. NCAA wasn't there when they did the mathematically definitive tier list ratings. So we actually don't know where NCAA stands. NCAA could be higher than me.
On what?
On the completely objective, factual tier list of tier listers.
Oh yeah. We hit the. We were the most correct out of all the tier lists. Scotty was ahead of me as well.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, we need more of that shit.
Shout out to Ben from Lords Unlimited for being in our league.
Modest.
Volcanic Spite, 1 in a red for an instant. Volcanic Spite deals 3 damage to target creature, planeswalker, or battle. You may put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library. If you do, draw a card. Yeah, that effect is nothing to sneeze at. That's like a full real card in the semi mid to late game. Or even on turn 2 if you're really desperately digging to hit your land drop to survive. This card does a ton. Kills a reasonable amount of things. Extremely efficient. It's a B for me.
Yeah, this is one of the, if not the best removal spell we see at common sometime. It's just so efficient, and it has additional upside beyond that. This is a strict upgrade from the Ikoria one, because it actually hits battles. And I'm not sure if the Ikoria one hit did it Planeswalkers? Maybe it did. I don't remember. But it's basically that, and well, that was, I believe, the best common in the set. But there was some things that were close. I have a hard time seeing I'm gonna, assuming red and the other colors are equal. That is, I have a hard time seeing picking many cards over this, even at uncommon, even at rare possibly. This shows so efficient, great at any point in the game. Human Drill D is always great, but this is extra great. If you need something early, you can look for it early. Rarely you're not, you're almost always getting at least some value from Rummage. Sometimes you don't want to do that, but usually you're getting a little bit of value from that. Replace the clunkiest card in your hand what doesn't fit that scenario. B+.
I'm gonna B. I love this card. It's amazing. This would be a great card with just dealing 3 damage. removal spell.
The next card is War Trained Slasher, 3 and a red for a creature Wolverine Dinosaur. Sorry. It's a 4/3 with menace, and whenever this attacks a battle, double its power until end of turn. What a line of text! What a line of text! This attacks battles on its own with 0 augments with 8 power, which literally completes on its own every single battle in the set. Is that right? The highest battle defense is 7.
Okay, no, there is no 7. Come on, go away with that shit. The highest is 5.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, okay. So the highest, if this connects, this will complete a battle. This
You
is push.
can flip the 7 defense battle at rare with this alone.
Yeah, like this will literally, this literally says, if this, I mean, you could replace that text with if this hits a battle, complete it, or like clear it or whatever. Flip the saga, whatever you want to say. A 4/3 menace for 4 mana is, I'm fine with that. You know, like if I'm paying 4 mana for 4/3 menace and like I'm sort of still want to be like the more proactive player, I'm fine with that. This obviously doesn't block super well, but this is pretty powerful on its own with a pretty heckin' high upside. Like as NCA mentioned earlier, like if you give this like haste with Trailblazing Historian, that's actually pretty stinking strong as well. I think this is like for a 4-drop, like a C for me. This is good.
Yeah, this card is great at flipping battles. Yeah, insane. It's effectively impossible to block. You can definitely block it, but like you're really happy if your opponent blocks this as well. Generally speaking, there are some things that can block this pretty well, actually, or like double block this pretty well, but that's pretty rare. Mainly if you have a
Blue?
1/1 lying around, or if you have a bunch of first strike things around.
Or a blue 3-drop?
Yeah, sure, that blocks it pretty well. Yeah, 1/1 lying around, or first strike creatures lying around, or maybe you have a trick or something, it can work with that as well. Yeah, I like this a lot. Red really seems to just want to flip battles, play battles, and I think red battles are good. I think every red color will want battles because the red battles are good. And yeah, excellent kind of flipping those. I'm gonna C plus, I think, but I'm close to giving it a B minus. This is kind of the weird thing with this and the other 4-drop. I guess I will just play both of them, and probably as many copies as I can get, because it's quite hard to overload on 4 still. Because if you just pick the good 4s, that is.
There is a good amount of good force across the colors.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So you can overload on them. I think I like this a little bit more than the first striker, but it depends. It's kind of similar. I'm on a C plus for this as well, because I was on a C plus for the first striker, I guess.
I'm close to a B minus, but I'm gonna go with a C plus as well. This is one of the best ways to clear a battle, because like opponent needs to lose 2 creatures. There is no way they are not losing 2 creatures when you attack with this. So this is beautiful for clearing battles, just beautiful. High C+.
I think I'm. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I think I'm hotter on the Goblin because it plays both sides a lot better. You know,
Yeah.
like if we're just assuming that we're going to be the aggressor, or we're not having to defend our own battles, and War Train Slasher is great. But it's a Goblin, right? The Goblin, red cap heal slasher. It definitely just plays in more scenarios of the game a lot more solidly than this card does. Ren's Resolve. Ren's Resolve is 1 and a red for sorcery. Exile top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. This card is fine, right? Like in terms of card advantage, this is like pretty efficient. This doesn't work well with reactive cards at all. The most awkward thing in a limited context is usually with combat tricks, right? If you want to, well, let's start here. If you want to play this card as a way to generate more value, the way that you make sure you don't whiff that often is by having a slightly lower curve. If you have a slightly lower curve, oftentimes you want to be aggressive, and if you want to be aggressive, you usually play combat tricks, which are generally pretty bad with this. So that's always like that's the biggest tension I felt with these style of cards. It doesn't mean it's like bad or anything, and like just because you have like a combat trick or two in your deck doesn't mean, oh, I cannot play Ren's Resolve ever. You know, like you just have to accept that sometimes it's going to be slightly awkward. It's fine. I think I'm trying to decide for myself, is it bad or is it like a good thing or a neutral thing if you want to play this with like some of the more high costed convoke spells?
I mean,
I'm pretty sure it's a bad thing.
Reckless Impulse was at least fine to good.
Yeah.
And Reckless Impulse was the same card.
It also had some support.
And I'm wondering if Convoke has any sort of bearing on this whatsoever in terms of like the cards technically cost higher, but obviously you can use your spell, your whatever's to cast them, your creatures to cast them. So I'm not sure if that means like it's easier to cast your high CMC stuff, or I think this is a C for me overall.
I personally think it's easier, but you might like. Yeah, it's kind of awkward because you have to tap down a lot of things, so you're leaving yourself pretty open to a lot of things. But I think it's like easier to play both of the cards in an emergency with the Convoke cards, even though they are a little bit expensive. Obviously, the fail case is also kind of worse with Convoke. Yeah, I like this fine. Like it's kind of good card advantage for. Honestly, any kind of red deck, but it's like never anything great. It's just okay in aggro, okay in mid-range, okay in slower stats. Those don't exist in red though. I'm on a C minus. I'm fine playing this, but at least in WoW I wasn't looking for them, except if I was playing Flame Breathers, and
yeah,
that's like, yeah, you had some spell synergy there. Sorcery instant synergy.
You don't really have spell synergy here. Sorcery
and
instant.
You don't have that here, but I still think this card is fine. I'll go to a D plus. This also has some C minus. I'll stick to C minus.
Yeah, I'm okay with C minus as well. I don't have much to add. It's fine. The lower curve, the easier it is to play things. Convoke is okay because a lot of Convoke cards that you're playing are gonna be instant speed, so you can just use this and then tap your creatures on the opponent's turn, so that's nice. But then if you can't tap that turn, opponent can choose, okay, I'm gonna be attacking, and opponent kind of has to trade one creature, so it's gonna be hard for them to play these two cards if they're not landed. I'm still on a C minus, it's fine.
On the uncommons, should we just go and didn't discuss red a little bit after uncommons or something?
Seems fine.
Yeah. Fearless Cult. 4 and red. It's a 3/2 with double strike and with backup 1. I mean, I like this 5-drop. It is very vulnerable to any removal spell, basically. It dies to a sneeze. But it's a lot of power you are putting on the battlefield for 5 mana. With this alone, if you put a counter here, it's kind of like an 8-power creature. Kinda, but it's very vulnerable to removal. And this pushes a lot of damage. Giving something double strike for a turn, and you get a creature like Uncaged Fury in Shadows over Innistrad, for example, is really good, I think. And that's give something +1/+1 and double strike instant speed, 3 mana. This just pushes so much damage. This will a lot of the time force your opponent into either double blocking your creature, which they don't want to really do because it's just a random creature that you gave double strike to for a turn, or they will have to jump. And this is on its own very threatening. I really like this as a 5. It's still a 5-drop. Like I said, it does. The problem is it dies to any removal spell, but it does have a lot of immediate board impact as well. I think I'm gonna. B minus for this, and that's a lot for a 5-drop.
Yeah, that's a lot for a 5-drop, but I think this is amazing as well. And like 4/3 double strike is crazy good, and you can also make something else double strike for a turn. This thing with white trick, flying trick, or white protection from a color trick is gonna be devastating. It's gonna feel bad. Like you can just out of nowhere deal half or more than half of their life total. This screams to me like I gotta remove it. I'm so afraid of it. And I'm at least on a B minus. I think this is gonna probably go to a B for me, but I'm gonna start as a B minus. Man, you know what? Just put it on a B, please. Put it on a B for me. This card is amazing. It's probably gonna be the best 5-drop in commons and uncommons.
Yeah, nothing else to add. I'm on a B minus though.
Better than some 6-drops.
Furnace Gremlin, 1 and a red, for a 1/2. Fire-Xing Gremlin. 1 and a red, Furnace Gremlin gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When it dies, incubate Axe, where Axe is its power. So on its own, it's the 2-mana 1/2 that incubates 1 when it dies. That's bad. Like, no one wants that. Giving your creature +1/+0 really expensive. I don't like this in aggressive red decks. First of all, it's too clunky for an aggressive deck. It attacks for 1. You don't really want to pump this, and like you're really unhappy if you pump this on turn 3 or something and trade with the 2-drop in aggressive decks. So that kind of leaves me to think that this is more like a red-black card. I don't think this is gonna be good outside of red-black. We'll see though. It is a 2-for-1 in theory. It's great late, but it's just really clunky early on. The reason why I like it in red-black is a little bit more is that even if you have to trade or a double block or something, and this dies when it has 1 power, that's okay. Because you do get the incubate token that you can just sack. And even in some scenarios, you could even sack this 2 times. And I think red-black just wants to play like more mid-range, and this kind of an effect I think is fine there. That said, I'm gonna give this a D+. I just don't see myself picking this highly, and I also don't think it's good in more than probably one deck consistently.
I'm more okay with this. I'm on a C minus. This thing is pretty good backup or equipment carrier.
Yes.
It's really good like backup and equipment carrier, and there's good equipment, good backup, so I think it's gonna be okay. C minus. I don't think it's super exciting. I can see it going up, but I can also see it going down. We're gonna see how the format plays out.
Yeah, I'll actually join you at C minus. It's not that embarrassing with like counters and equipment. I still don't love it because it just attacks burst and like everything else. I would rather have the choo-choo trample, for example, with equipment and backup still, I think. But I'll join you at C minus. I think it's like kind of passable in most decks. Yeah.
All right. The biggest sin for this card is that it doesn't tussle well on curve, right?
It's pretty bad on curve, yeah.
Which is like pretty bad for a 2-drop. But in any sort of mid and later game scenario, this card is actually pretty stinking good. Like even if you augment it with any counters, if you augment it with equipment, you can actually pump it up beyond that. If this gets to like, I think it's reasonable for this to get to like 4 power. And if this is a 4 power trade off or something, that's a good Magic card. That's a good Magic card.
It's pretty good
right?
with the +2/+0 equipment.
Yeah, like any sort of like combat tricks too. If this sort of dies in combat with a lot of the like power buffing things that we saw, that then like doesn't bump toughness, so this dies. I think that actually offsets its stats by a decent amount. I actually think in terms of the scale of 2-drops, this is one of the better ones. So this is a C+ for me.
All right. I can see that happening. Chat is on a B- with this one.
Furnace Rains. 2 and red for a sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature until end of turn. It gains haste. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, create a treasure token. Probably one of the better threaten effects we've seen, actually. I think this card is really good in red-black. Like, one of the better threatens. Period. Because you get 2 sack things for red-black, and red-black has a bunch of the, like, playable sack outlets that, like, especially the huge interested in playing, that's free. And then it has some other cards, I guess. But mainly that. Would you get 2 things that you're happy sacrificing? And it's only single pipped. It's 3 mana. That said, I don't want to play this outside of red-black. But I think red-black has enough things that sack for relatively cheap. And I'm gonna give this a C+.
I think we should talk about a ceiling grade for this card.
Okay, sure. We can do a ceiling grade for this
B.
card.
Ceiling grade.
Yeah, I'm on a B or a B plus for a ceiling grade. I might even be on a B plus ceiling grade for this.
What would you give it as a ceiling grade, Scotty?
A B for a ceiling grade.
All right. But as a base grade, I think it's a huge difference when this type of effect, no matter how good it is.
I'm gonna give it a C as a base grade then, because if you give it a ceiling, I'll stick to my I'll stick to my C plus, whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna start it as a C minus because I think there's a huge, one of the rare cards where there's a huge difference if this is common or uncommon. If this is common, you can say, all right, that's gonna be the base of my deck. I can get a couple of these, and then I can, well, turn my opponent's creatures into attackers, sacrifice them later for value or whatever, and just have really good turns, right? This type of effect, when you have the sacrifice on board, is rarely a removal spell, and that's it. It also makes your attack much better. This is gonna make you a treasure, most likely, and it can also sometimes just win games. I think in certain decks this card is really good, but the problem is that it's uncommon. And then, even if red is very open, it is hard to get multiples of these. So you're not gonna really build your deck around that. So I'm gonna start it as a C minus.
Okay, can I give you a counter argument?
Sure.
I don't think it matters at all that this is an uncommon, because the thing is why usually be like this card much more at common is that the sack outlets you have are kind of niche playable. Like you need the sack outlets, but I think you are happy already playing the cheap sack things in this set and the things that sack, so that like you're just happy playing this in red black. I don't think it really matters at least much that this isn't common.
The thing is, in red black, without having few of these, there is not that many things that sack. There is like village rights, and village rights is not the best with this because
I actually have been I like village rights in red black, but I disagree. Village rights I think is very good with this.
I don't think it is, because the reason for that is you need to have village rights in your hand with this in your hand.
Yeah. But I think village rights is already solid in red black.
But the thing is, I don't think village rights is not the way you want to do this type of effect, because you must keep it in your hand. You must not play it before, even though you might really want to.
Yeah, sure. It's worse than like repeatable sack outlets.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to have repeatable sack outlets.
Yeah.
And there is like one on
yeah,
common.
There is one at common, but the thing is that is free and it is repeatable.
Yeah, it's free, it's repeatable, but it's one.
Uncommon is a lot compared to the sets usually where we see threaten, honestly.
And one is the huge thing for me, because that one is also like nothing super special, and you're getting one life and one toughness, but you need to tap that creature, so you're not attacking with it when you steal it, so you have a huge attack. So I think it's huge that you don't have very good repeatable sack effects. Like for example in Ikoria was where Threaten was amazing, because we had a few of the village ripe type of effects where you can have it in your hand, but you can use it. It's okay because you have really nice, common, repeatable sacrifice effects.
Yeah, but you had, I think you had only one in Nicoria as well.
And that's a common one,
Yeah.
really good one, right? One
Yes,
really
it was better in Nicoria than it is in this set. But the thing is that I think I'm fine. I already want to play a decent amount of the choo-choos.
Okay. Scotty, what do you give it?
I'll give this in snap mac dab in the middle of C.
All right.
Next up, Harried Artisan, 2 and a red for a 2/3 with haste, and for 3 and a Phyrexian white, you can transform it into Phyrexian Sky Flayer. It's a 3/4 flying haste. Haste on the backside is so weird. I guess you can spend six mana. Yeah, to get it straight away. I don't like this. I think 3 mana 2/3 haste is quite terrible, frankly speaking. And I'm not really that into transforming this. Like, it's nice that you can transform this, but the creature you get is kind of clever as well. Like, you're gonna already pay 3 to 4 mana to do that, and you're not really getting much. And this is terrible on its own. I'm gonna give this a D.
I'm okay with a D. The blue 1 mana uncommon is gonna be so good with like just with these transform cards. Forget about incubate as well. It just does so much for them if you play it early. But yeah, just a D. I really hate the 2/3 for haste stat line on the front.
Yeah, I don't hate this nearly as much. I mean, I like kind of hate it, but I'm not like a D hater. Like, yeah, 2/3 stat line is bad, but being pretty relevant as a 4/3 flyer. I understand that like the 3 and 3 is not a low investment, but if I have this in my deck, it'll do at least something on 3, and then later on it'll do something, you know, once I jump it. Like on turn 5, I can maybe double spell with the 2-drop and then this and threaten life total, battle, etc. I think it's fine. I think it's C- for me.
You know it's a 3/4?
Yeah, it's a 3/4 with flying.
Okay, you said 4/3 because that would be much better if it was a 4/3.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just in case.
Thank you.
Next up, Invasion of Mercadia. 1 and red for a 4 defense battle. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. So Tormenting Voice on the front. And it transforms into Chiron Flame Right. It's a 3/3 with 2 and a red, tap, discard a card. Create 2 1/1 blue and red elemental creature tokens. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. Really nice ability actually in this creature. Like, it's a 2 mana battle. You get a Tormenting Voice, which is like a D- level card, but generally speaking, with some spell synergies, it can be higher in some sets. But it needs very, very little to be very good. It's like close to being okay, close to being good. It's definitely not like an embarrassing card, and the fact that you get like an okay card on the front already, and you get a pretty fucking threatening thing on the back for 2 mana in total is really good. Like, if you consider both of the sides on this card, you're getting so much for 2 mana. A lot for 2 mana. Now, the backside, you're probably gonna just attack. I was gonna say you're probably just gonna attack with a 3/3, but then again, you do give everything +1/+0. So you might just start honestly turning your hand into 2 1/1s, because that's like
2 1s.
2 1/1s, yeah.
But two 2/1s, right?
Yeah, there are 2 1s until the end of your turn.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but you probably are gonna just start turning your hand into these things rather than playing your cards out, honestly. Yeah. Because if you repeat this, it's like, yeah, first turn is good, but it's not like that insane. But imagine doing this 2 turns in a row. Now it is kind of insane. Yeah, I think this is one of the best battles, if not even the best,
Yeah.
because I have come down the White Anthem one. The more I thought about it, I still think it's good, but um, I'm gonna start this very optimistic, but I also think it is gas. Red has a pretty easy time flipping battles. Honestly, you're hoping not to play this on turn 2, but if you have to, it's not embarrassing. The nice thing is if you have to play this on turn 2, it's probably that you're looking for lands, and you can't really find much better things to do for 2 if you're looking for lands. I'm on a B plus for this.
Yeah, I'm close. I'm just gonna start it as a B. This card is amazing. It's like even if you don't clear the battle, it's fine. You got a tormenting voice. That's alright. But it doesn't add to the board. That's a bit of a problem. But if you do clear it, you're really getting something. And remember, you pay 2 mana, so you can double spell. You can use your tricks to clear this battle. It's not like you play this battle, that's your turn. Let's clear it. No. You're gonna do other things. I'm gonna be. I love this card. Maybe the best battle on a Chat is on a B and a C plus.
Yeah, next up, oh shit, I need to open this. Invasion of Regatta, 2 and red, for a 5 defense battle. When Invasion of Regatta enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to target, 4 damage to another target battle or opponent, and 1 damage up to 1 target creature. And it transforms into a 4/4 with prowess, and if a non-creature source you control would deal damage to a creature, battle, or opponent, it deals that much damage plus 2 instead. So, mostly speaking, it's like if you cast a removal spell, it deals the amount of damage it deals plus 2 to anything. Yeah, weirdly enough, I kinda like this one as well.
Yeah.
Like, the fail case is that you deal 4 damage to your opponent, but then I don't think it's that bad considering how good I think red is at flipping battles, and especially red-green is at flipping battles. And God forbid you ever go the last battle into this on 3.
Yeah.
That's insane. I like this actually a lot. Like, a lot compared to what it does, which is kind of nothing on the front side. But I think red is just pretty good at flipping battles, and like I said, especially red-green gets better when you have more battles for sure. Like I think this can be like a B level card in some decks, but it's pretty hard to reach that. But I kind of like starting it as high as a C plus.
Yeah, I kind of want to start it as a C plus or B minus. Like, this is really good if you yeah.
The ceiling on this card is kind of broken, and it's just like you play this into the 4-drop. That's like an okay curve, and that's one of the worst things you can do playing this on 3. I mean, or the 2-drop 2/2 trample into this, like you're probably attacking this for 3, and now like I think it's just easy enough to flip. This is good, and if you can, it is easy enough to flip. You get a 4/4 prowess with some additional upside, and also the 1 damage up to 1 target creature. Nothing to scoff at. It's gonna kill something, I would say about 50% of time or something. These effects kill something relatively often. Now it's relevant, but everything is relevant also. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to a C plus, but I'm so close getting to B minus just because of the 2/2 trampler that is a 3/3. And if you play this on turn like 5, after you play the 4/3 with menace, like that 4/3 is an 8/3 when it attacks this battle. So it can flip it right away, and you maybe cleared like a small thing that was in the way, or opponent just had 1 blocker and then you just clear it, and that feels really good. You missed out on that 4 damage to face maybe, but like this effect is not nothing as well. dealing non-combat damage. Maybe you have multiples of these battles and it's gonna be like what, 6 and 3 damage next time. I'm gonna start it as a C+, but I think in a lot of decks it's gonna feel like a B- or a B. And again, same like NCA. The front side looks meh, but in regards like of the context of red in this format, I think it's gonna be perfectly fine.
Okay, I'll be a brave boy and go B-. If you go 2-drop and you manage to kill anything with this, it's gonna feel busted in half.
Yeah, that's gonna be really good.
It's just gonna be a busted magic card. Imagine,
there are a lot of scenarios where this is gonna feel busted,
Yeah.
kinda.
like, imagine playing a 2-1 in this format and just getting blasted by this card on turn 3. That's miserable. That I don't know if you can just think and win from that spot. The backside is super strong. B- for me.
I'll try it B-.
I'm genuinely being honest as well. I think just with red, with what it is, it's gonna feel good.
Okay, next up is a spicy 2-drop. Kenra Spellspear, 1 in the red for a 2/2 with trample and prowess. And that wasn't enough. You can pay 3 and a Phyrexian blue to transform it. It transforms into Gitaxian Spellstalker. It has trample, ward 2, double prowess. Prowess.
My
And
god.
it's a 3/3.
My god.
Yeah, this is imagine even going this into that battle. This is like performs kind of similarly to the common 2-drop, but it's like busted in every single scenario you can ever think of, basically. The worst case is you have no non-creatures, but then even if you have no non-creatures, this card is still good. I'm debating between an A- and a B+. This isn't close to a B in my mind. I'm gonna go with B+ for this. It's still, I don't know. I think this is better than Monastery Mentor.
Oh. Whoa.
I'll go A-.
Better than Monastery Mentor?
Yes.
Okay. I heavily disagree. But best 2-drop, best common uncommon 2-drop in the game, probably, right?
Yeah.
In this set, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I think it's just like bar none.
I think it's also like excellent at flipping battles, which is really nice.
It's excellent at everything.
Yeah, that is true. But like, yeah.
It's just excellent with everything. Excellent with Convoke, excellent like... this is basically the only prowess creature that we are gonna get on common and uncommon. If you don't count the last battle, but just prowess creature. And flipping this, playing some Convoke or whatever, I mean, it's trample, ward 2, double prowess, wow, wee. Holy lolly, everything is perfect. Like, this card didn't need any transform, but it does make it a lot better, because the transformed part is... This is so good on the front side, and the transform part is crazy good. That's the weird thing, right? Usually we have like quite a little bit weaker front side, but this one is nope. Prowess and trample. There is like the black 2/2 vanilla creature that has a really nice backside, but this one is like, what the hell is happened? Amazing. B+, easy. It's fuckery uppity as well, absolutely.
B+.
Lithomantic Barrage, red, for a sorcery. This spell can't be countered. It deals 1 damage to target creature or planeswalker if it deals 5 damage instead if that target is white and or blue. This could be main deckable, I think, just because it deals 5 damage against 70% of the decks, assuming every curl is equal, and 5 damage is a lot of damage for 1 mana. And I don't think one dealing 1 is obviously not the best, and it's pretty garbage, but it's not the end. You're gonna find something this can hit. And in most games, you'll find something good that you can actually hit, and for 1 mana, yeah, you don't even need to find something that great. And I also do think that blue and white are both pretty good, so it might even be more than 70% of time that this finds a good target. Mm, I'm gonna give this a C minus.
I'm on a D plus. It's amazing in sideboard. We give it a sideboard grade, obviously. But it's not like you 70% of the decks are gonna be in these colors, and then there are some things that flip, even though you're not blue or white, that flip
Yeah,
into blue.
that's true. That's a good point. I'll actually, yeah, that's a good point. I'll go to C.
All right, D plus for me as a base, but X in a sideboard for sure.
I'll start off at a D plus as well.
Ramosian Greatsword, 400 red for an artifact equipment with Convoke. Equipped creature gets +3/+1 and has trample. It has an equip cost of 2. Convoke on an equipment is really weird. Like, I get the idea, kinda, that you want to go wide and then you want to play the equipment and then you want to start making your, like, pretty small creature into relevant threats. I get the idea, but it doesn't work how you want it to work. Trust me, it's not gonna be that simple. 5 mana. This card is one of the worst cards we've seen. If you're behind, probably it doesn't do anything. Its equip cost is pretty expensive. Well, I guess for the effect, it's not that expensive, but still, the card itself is really expensive. The card itself is just really fucking clunky, and I also don't think Blue Red really wants to do this kind of thing. Man, I guess it's like playable if you manage to get like 4 of the token making commons or something in some decks. I'm gonna start as a D though.
I'm a bit higher than you on this card, but like you kind of have to convoke three. If this was just 2 mana, equip 2, that would be pretty damn good. I think 3/1 trample is makes everything a threat. But you really need support. I'm gonna start it as a. I wanna give it a C minus, but I'm gonna start it as a D plus, cause it's way too much mana and leaves you defenseless. Equipment doesn't have flash. This would be nice, I think, if it had flash. Because you can just like have a good turn with
Well,
it.
sure, if it equipped on when it enters the battlefield.
No, not equip. Just flash, so you don't have
Oh
to like.
yeah. I get what you mean now. Yeah, I agree.
So you don't have to tap everything and leave yourself open. But I'm gonna start it as a D plus. The 3/1 is pretty good, but you really need like this needs a good base to be ready for that. As NCA said, like 2 of those make 2/1. Few of those make 2/1/1s on 2. Few maybe the blue ones that make 3 drops that make a 2/2 and a 1/1, or maybe white knights for 4 mana that make 2 creatures. Blue red I think is nice where you kind of want to put this because you have also the signpost uncommon, which is 5 mana for 3 creatures, but it's still like I don't think it's hard for this to be amazing, but I think it is gonna be like a C level card in the right deck. I'm gonna be happy running it, but not picking it super early. D plus is a base.
Yeah, my problem is that even if you are pretty heavy on creating multiple bodies and you care about like are doing the convoke stuff, you have a deck that's really good at convoking things. You can't really play this until pretty late, let's say like turn 5, turn 6. Generally speaking, you don't want to play this early, you want to wait, because earlier on, if you saw your opponent kind of blows this out in combat or something, you lose a lot of mana. Even if they only kill at 1/1, it's pretty good for them. So you want to wait. But the problem is, you cast this on like turn 6, you still have to tap kind of your board, this doesn't do anything whatsoever in terms of stabilizing you in any manner. It's like back foot.
Yeah, there's like no conceivable way to actually cast this and equip this and start attacking early. Even imagining the scenario where you drop a 1-drop and then drop Ral's reinforcements on 2, the one that makes 2 elementals, right? On turn 3, you still only have 3 lands and 3 creatures. So it's not, and this costs 7 total to equip. So like this is the late game grindy card, and it's decent at doing its job, but that's not usually something that limited decks really need to pick up super early, you know? Like if you have a good base to survive to the late game, this is a D plus for me.
Scrappy Bruiser, 3 and a red for a 3/4 Raccoon Warrior. When it attacks, up to one target attacking creature gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the end of combat. Everything about this card is already told to you by its name. It's crappy. And I guess the like joke here is that you can give something +2/+0 and then you can easily flip battles or something. But then the return text is just so bad. Oh, and this has to also attack. I thought this was just when you attack, and I still didn't like it. Oh, this has to attack. It's even more shit than I thought. I guess I should have figured it does say scrappy after all. Yeah, no, you just lose way too much tempo while doing this. I guess you kind of could gain tempo if you flip battles, but no, this is just way too bad in a lot of scenarios. The 4-mana 3/4 is. I'm on a D- for this.
I'm on a D. Just feeling this is kind of like vanilla creature. This effect feels really bad, even though it's gonna be fine sometimes. Could do something late game with making a bit more tokens with a flyer or putting a backup somewhere, but man, this is like it loses you so much tempo when you do this. It's like kind of strictly for late game. I really don't like it. Just a D, whatever. And there's enough good 4-drops on common, so you don't need this.
It's time to play the vanilla game. Erase all the text of this card. NCA, do you like this card better?
No.
Lola, you think this is better than a vanilla 3/4?
This, yeah, but doesn't get a higher grade.
Yeah.
It's about pretty similar. Backup was mentioned. I don't. Gosh, your creature has to survive combat in order for it to bounce too, and they both have to be attacking, which is like pretty stinking miserable. Yeah, I hate it. This is like I'm gonna give this a D- as well.
Let's change my grade to an F. I actually don't think I will ever put this card into my deck or even consider putting this card into my deck.
Yeah, I'm okay with a D- because like there's a lot of good 4-drops on common, which I really like, and some of the best ones are in red. So why play this thing? Why is it uncommon? Good thing you're not gonna see it a lot.
4-mana 3/4 vanilla in my mind is an F, and this is a little bit better, but not.
No, it's just like a D-.
No. Shivan Branchburner, 5 red for a creature dragon. It's a 4/4 with flying haste, and it has convoke. It's not Goldspan Dragon, but it does have flying haste, and it's a 4/4 flyer.
Goldspan Dragon? What the hell?
It's the same card.
Yeah, basically.
But Goldspan has lifelink.
No, it doesn't, Lola.
Ah, you mean the Goldspan Dragon that makes treasures? My bad.
Yeah. It's the same card. It just doesn't get treasures.
I mean, we had like 6 mana and 5 mana 4/4 flying haste dragons that do nothing else.
I do like this card a decent amount. I don't think it's great just because again like sorcery speed convoking is really awkward. We saw this in where convoke showed up last time. What set was it? Ravnik? No.
Guilds of Ravnica.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Yeah, and these kind of like sorcery speed convoke cards perform way worse than they looked. That's why I like that we had like doing some more instant speed convoking in this set. But this isn't like that much overcost. At 5, this is pretty good. You still need to tap 2 creatures, so it's not like 5, but you can also get it for cheaper. And for even for 6, it's kind of like Red Dragon, I guess. Red Dragon for 6 mana, right?
Yeah, same with Volcanic Dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah, Volcanic Dragon.
Yeah, I like this a good amount. Is it actually good enough to play in any red deck? Huh. Maybe, probably actually. But it does get up in blue-red and I guess in blue-red mostly. And if you just have a bunch of token makers. I actually think black-red is also pretty good at convoking stuff. But it doesn't have much to convoke. This is one thing it has though. But yeah, this is like kind of overcosted only by 1 mana. Okay, B minus.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with this. If you... It's also really good at clearing battles out of nowhere. You know what, I'm gonna start as a B minus as well. Even though I can see it going to like down to a C plus. I don't think it's gonna be higher than B minus.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be high. Like the reason I give it a B minus is also that I think there are some decks where it's a little bit lower. I still think it's good in probably every deck.
Yeah.
But it's also gonna perform like a B plus in some decks. Or at least close.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. B minus seems good, but I can see it going down to a C plus overall.
If you have 2 or more rouse reinforcements, which is like a reasonable case scenario, if your color is open, like this is pretty reasonable. This is pretty easy to play on turn 4, right? Like just rouse into 3-drop into this.
You can play 2-drop on that as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to play this on 4 if that's the case though.
Oh, I do.
Like I have route
do?
informants. No, the problem is that you leave yourself extremely open to any attacks. And your other creatures aren't still attacking or anything. Like I think it's a good like curve, but I'm not excited by doing that. I'm kind of like more happy playing this on 5.
Sure. Also, funnily
Even
enough,
with that curve.
funnily enough, I'm a little lower than both of you, just because like I don't really you definitely can't overload on these. So I'm on a C plus.
That's true. I'm on a C plus as well.
Talk to Flames, 2 red, instant, convoke, it deals 4 damage to any target. It's a reprint, it's an amazing magic card. Kind of like the black uncommon removal spell. 4 mana deal 4 even to any target. I don't think is really what you want. Like I wouldn't put that into my deck generally in Modern Limited anymore. But it's very close. And it is Convoke. Convoke is kind of busted on this card. It makes this from meh into extremely good. And it can go face, which is really nice with the red cards. And it can hit battles, which is sometimes something you might need. Instant speed, convoke. It's between a B plus and an A minus, but I'm gonna start as a B plus. It's still only a removal spell, and it's not like the black rare removal spell that surveils you.
Yeah, this card is amazing. I'm on a B plus easy. This card is beautiful. Instant speed, you can just put it. Even when you're not like looking for something to remove, if you play just for a tempo, it's amazing, and you can just go have enough creatures on turn 4 or 5. Play this for 0 on the end of the turn. Get a battle out, clear the battle. Beautiful. I don't think we're talking a lot about battles because it's a new thing. I don't think you're gonna have a ton of battles, But no matter what you do, like this is gonna be beautiful, beautiful tempo and beautiful. Scotty?
Oh, I didn't say anything. Yeah, B+. Sorry.
Oh, we are on to the rares. Chet is also on a B+. Everybody quickly wrote B+ there. Okay. So next up we have rares and mythics, but do you want to have a minute to talk about what you think about red commons mainly and the support from uncommons? How do you feel compared to the other 3 colors we saw so far?
A kind of similar story with black. The more I looked at red, the more I liked it. Like my, the first time I looked at the set, my kind of color rankings are again back at the same place. Like I kind of, even though I liked like red and black more, the more I look at them, I still don't like red and black as much as white and blue. And now that I think back about black, I see what it's trying to do. But like every color, I think is just trying to do really powerful stuff. I mean, I'm not sure if black can keep up. I think red can. I'm not sure if black can keep up.
Scotty?
Yeah, mostly. Mostly because I'm susceptible greatly to peer pressure. Since y'all were talking down black and red so much, like I also had a negative going in opinion, but the colors seem pretty balanced out so far.
I didn't talk down red. I talked down black, but it seems once we were done with it, I was also fine with black. Yeah. But red, it has good early game uncommon. It has good removal at instant speed. It has good mid game, like 4 drops and 5 drops. I really like in red. So I'm kind of okay. All bases are covered. It has the best battles, the best way to clear the battle, so that helps it even though you're going to uncommon territory. Really, really, really good uncommons on red. Like the top end of red uncommons are wow wow wee wee. And that's about it for red from me. Like I like every part of it. You can even like have some late game where you can draw 2 for 2 mana basically in late game. You have the Saga that can discard something, draw some cards. Maybe sacrificing the lands with that guy if you really need. Maybe one of those is gonna be just fine in any red deck. I can see that happening. That 1 drop. So yeah, I'm very very fine with red so far. Ready for the rares and mythics?
Yep.
Alright, chat, you can vote. First up, we have Bloodfeather Phoenix. For 1 and red, we have a 2/2 flyer that cannot block. But whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control deals damage to an opponent or battle, you may pay red. If you do, return this guy from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste until end of turn. This card is bad. This is a very rare Phoenix that is not just amazing. 2/2 flyer, I like. 2/2 flyer that cannot block, I really don't like. And sometimes you just have to block. Doesn't matter if you're the most aggressive deck ever or not. Sometimes you must block or you're gonna be losing the race or battles or whatever. The last part of text can matter, but most often it won't. You don't really want to deal damage to their face, even though you can deal what is there? There's like 2 and there's like 4 damage on uncommon. You can deal damage to their face and then get the haste guy for 1 extra mana and then maybe close the game. But I really don't like this card. I'm on a like D+ in the most aggressive deck. Maybe I'm gonna go lower right, but average D+, really mediocre card.
Yeah, Lola hates cards that can't block. I also dislike them, maybe a little less, but I don't really have anything else to add. C-.
I might hate them even more than Lola, even though I like playing aggressive strats. I think cards that can block are basically exclusively horrendous. I'm on a D or a D-. I guess I'll start as a D, but I think it's gonna fall rather than go up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down to a D as well. Like I really don't like this card. like nothing about it.
It's like the thing is that since it can't, like, it doesn't even attack much better than a normal 2-drop. It's only a 2/2. Like, sure, it has flying, so it can't really be blocked, but it's not like you're gonna be ahead when you play this in the attacking race, kinda.
Yeah. Opponent just attacks with their 2-drop as well. Next up, let me reset the grades for you. Chat is on a C for the Phoenix. Phoenixes are usually really good. Chandra Hope's Beacon for 4 and double red. We get a 5 loyalty planeswalker that has static ability. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy, and this ability triggers only once each turn. For +2, you can add 2 mana of any combination of colors. For +1, you can exile the top 5 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may cast an instant or sorcery from among those exiled cards. For -X, Chandra deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets. Let's go! A very different take on a Planeswalker. This feels more like the 5 mana, 6 mana enchantment that we usually get that doubles your spells once per turn with additional text. And that additional text is pretty fucking good. Like, usual case scenario, pay 6 mana, minus whatever, 3, 4, I mean -5 feels great. You -5, like that's the floor of this card probably. -5, each up to 2 targets, you're not dividing. 5 damage to both targets, amazing. Well, that's the floor, right? Then you can -4, -3, kill 2 things. I mean, for -4 you basically always kill 2 things. For -3 you basically always kill 2 things. So, and then you steal every single sorcery instant you're gonna play is gonna trigger 2 times. Wow, and then you can just +2 from since Planeswalker were introduced. +2 on a Planeswalker is incredibly hard to deal with. I think this set has more things that target Planeswalkers, so that's nice, but it is very, very hard to deal with. +1, I don't know how often you're gonna use it, but I mean, why not? You might have... You can't use it too many times because you're exiling them and they're not coming back, but you use it once, you maybe hit something, whatever, if you don't care about +2. You can also minus once and minus second time later. I mean, even if this just is -X, it's gonna be amazing for your deck, and it just gets better, and sometimes it just gets way better. A, because it is a 6-drop, but I kind of want to give it an A+, but let's start as an A.
Sigh, A.
I'm reasonably much lower. I'm on a B+. I don't... The thing is that I think this is gonna too often play like a 6-mana kill 2 things and don't really do much else. That said, that's already great, but it's not anything that warrants an A grade in my mind. And
often it's gonna be that?
yes, I think that's the most common scenario.
Why?
Because it's fucking 6 mana.
Yeah, but why is it gonna be only that? Because you win then?
No, because your opponent can kill it.
They just lost 2 creatures, like...
Yes.
They're gonna kill it with two less creatures for 1 card.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty hard to kill, but they lose 3 cards.
That's perfect, there's 3 cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the floor.
Yeah, that's like the floor. The worst this card is ever gonna be.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a B+. That's like...
No, I'm not too excited about 6 mana deal 5 to 2 creatures. That's not like... I think it's like a B-, B?
2 targets, NCA,
Yeah.
2 targets.
2 creatures, I said. Deal 5 to 2 creatures.
Yeah, but
Or
you can just deal face if that's what you want.
you can kill face.
Yeah.
Killing face is good. Okay, I'll go A-.
And I mean...
I think the uncommon 2-drop is better than this.
The 2-drop is a sorcery, for example. The 2 mana...
Yes,
two
but
mana.
I think the uncommon 2-drop is better than this. I didn't say anything about the sorcery.
Yeah, I know. This is, I think, way better. Alright, 1 second. Chat is on an A. Most of you. City on Fire is the next one. For 5 and triple red, we got an enchantment with Convoke. And if a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or a player, it deals triple that damage instead. Okay, we get a lot of these effects everywhere. It does have Convoke. So that sells it for me. Like when this is usually like a 6-drop or some, and it's a verse or 6 drops and it's the same, or maybe 7-drop with hard casting costs, right? Sometimes you just can't cast it, but this one you convoke the red things and it's much easier to cast with than a 6-drop probably. But then you do need to tap a lot of things. The huge deal on this is that you can get an explosive turn where you play something where you just tap everything, right? You play maybe 1 2-drop and tap everything later on. If you're not dying, if you're not gonna die, opponent is probably not really gonna attack at all, because they're probably gonna just die then. The thing is that it doesn't do anything without your other creatures, but it does buff your future creatures and removal later on. I'm pretty high on this one, and the more 1/1s you play and make 2 creatures, and there is a lot of good commons in all, basically in few colors, like at least 3 that make 2 creatures for the price of 1 card. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna do a lot. I think this may be the best limited iteration of this card. I kind of want to give it a B+. I'm a believer. I'm gonna give it a B+.
Okay, I actually think this is worse. The worst iteration of this card.
Okay.
If I recall, there's only been 2 iterations of a triple, which is
A
Fiery
double,
Emancipation
triple, and so on.
But I would rather have this at 6 mana than 8 mana and Convoke, even though you can push this out earlier.
Yeah.
I think one of the nice things about that is to just be able to slam it in attack, and this makes it harder to do that overall. In fact, like having to tap your creature so you can't actually play defensive after slamming this for 6 mana doing nothing is tough, right? One of the things I liked about Fire Emancipation is playing creatures, having them become blanked by larger creatures, and then playing Emancipation and being able to trade off to defend yourself, and then just winning the game, the late game overall. This one doesn't really do that. So I think that it's actually a pretty big hit against this card. That being said, it's extremely powerful effect. You can't sneeze at it just because it's expensive. This is a C+ for me.
Yeah, I really want to like this, but I don't. The thing is that it's really expensive even with Convoke, and again, a sorcery speed Convoke spell is rough. You're leaving yourself very open to attacks, even because basically this doesn't do mostly anything the turn it comes into play generally, and I think that's a huge hit for this card. I'm on a D+ for this. I don't think I want this in my red decks. I think I would rather play just a 3-drop creature than play this in even like late, let's say for 6 mana or something.
Imagine this with a battle that deals 4 to face.
Or if you didn't play this, you could have just killed them already, because then you didn't play this clunky 8-drop.
I don't know. I think this works in a lot of decks. I think it just works. I can't wait.
This is great. This is a 6 controversial rating on the controversial calculator scale.
Yeah, this is sick.
That's the highest of the set.
This is sick, yeah. I'm gonna go down to a B, but it's still sick, like a D+.
No, you're lowering the controversial rating.
What can you do? I'm gonna go down to a B because there are gonna be a lot of situations where you just can't play it. But when you can, I think it does a lot.
Yeah, I think the fact that you get the effectively 1 turn late in too many scenarios makes it bad, personally.
Okay. Like, if you have a couple of those, make 2 1/1s, a couple of blue 2/2 flyers that make a 1/1. Like
Lola, how many best commons in the sets do you think you can get?
a couple.
Okay.
Like,
The
imagine just the dream.
body's gonna open under 3 on average, and you are expecting to maybe not on average, but anyway, you are expecting to get couple like relatively often.
Hell
No,
yeah!
that-
Imagine
yeah.
this: play 2 1/1s, play that 3 mana 2/2 and a 1/1, and sure, just fuck off, tap all of them. Maybe you play some more 1/1s, and you tap all of those. Even if, especially if you had a 1-drop, then you can do even more. And the opponent sure is dealing damage to you, but at that point you're like, I don't give a fuck. This is over, and that can happen, and I'm gonna do it.
I mean, I'm gonna play this card. I'm not saying I won't, but I don't think you should put this card into your deck personally.
I think you should. Let's get into the new one. Etali, Primal Conqueror. For 5 and double red, that's 7 in total, you get a 7/7 Trampler. And when this thing enters the battlefield, each player exiles a card. Exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among the non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. Which means you're gonna get 1 card from your opponent's deck and 1 card from your deck, unless I'm reading it wrong, and you can just play those cards. For 9 and green Phyrexian mana, that's kind of a lot. It becomes 11/11 Trample Indestructible, and when this thing deals combat damage to a player, they get that many poison counters. So it kind of kills them, but it probably kills them like without poison counters. But just in case, why not? Why not? Why does this not have infect, by the way?
If you have, you have like 9 mana. I don't know how you haven't already killed your opponent with this on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's maybe they're just gaining a ton of life. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, this is a 7-drop I want to work towards playing. Definitely. Like, you get a 7 mana 7/7 Trample, and you get 2 top non-land cards from your deck and from the opponent deck, and you just play those. Sure, sometimes it's gonna be a trick or something that you don't care about, but you do get 2 of those things. Most often it's gonna be something that's not conditional like a trick. It's gonna be draw cards, play creatures, removal. Best thing would be like removal and creatures just affecting the board. The backside is nice that it exists. Like, it's really nice that it exists. If every card has this, every card is better. I don't think it's important, but why not? Why not? 7 drops. I have a hard time giving this bomb grading. But it's really good. I'm gonna start it as a B+.
Okay, I'm on a B+ as well. I also have to question Lola, I guess. This card doesn't require you to have any board left. You can trade off all your stuff and still cast Etali, right? Why do you like this less than Gulta and Mavrin?
Then what?
Why do you like this card less than Gulta and Mavrin? The gold card that's also a 7-drop that requires you to have a board.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Oh, the other one?
The green white 7-drop that's a dinosaur that's a 12/12 that.
Oh, the
makes
12 health
sense.
trample? I think
It's a
that
12
card
health
is.
trample.
Well, you basically always have a board. And if you
No,
don't have a board.
Lola. No, you don't. Don't lie. No, you.
Lola never blocks. Never.
Yeah,
Lola
Lola
never
has always a board. I'm gonna laugh so bad when Lola plays the card and it's like, oh, I guess I have no crack with.
I don't think anybody's gonna laugh except me when I play that card. That one is sure, maybe sounds Timmy-like, but 12 trample, and the effect most often is gonna give you a good amount of shit right away, and next turn you just win. With this one, I mean, you do most often.
With this one, you just win. You don't need a board.
I mean, with this one, it's kind of like, depends on what you get. Like, you could get something that you don't care about. Maybe card draw and so on. This doesn't straight up like win you the game, but it gets you very close to doing that. I think the other one just does.
All right, I think this one is significantly better than Galton Mavrin, and I will also take it higher, especially because it's monocolored. This is a B+ for me.
Yeah, I'm an A- for this. It's a 7 drop, but I'm close to giving it an A. I'll give it an A actually. I think it's possibly better than Coma.
I'm gonna move it to an A as well. Actually, it's just would like this to be like. I remember what was this Atali in Ixalan? It was a 6 drop, right? And it had the same.
Atali in Ixalan was worse than Colossal Dreadmaw.
Let me find it.
So it's a 6/6 with no evasion. It's 4 red, 6/6, and when it attacks, you flip the top card of each player's library, and if it's a land, you just get nothing.
Oh, you had to flip. That's true. No, what the hell? It's not worse than a Colossal Dreadmaw. What are you talking about?
It was worse than Colossal Dreadmaw.
It's worse than a Colossal Dreadmaw?
Yes.
Trample is
worse
better
than
than
Colossal
flipping
Dreadmaw.
2 cards and playing them without paying mana cost?
Yeah, you flip lands so often.
You flip lands. I flip more Atalis. No, Atalis legendary. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm okay giving this an A as well. Yeah, this is gonna win you the game probably most of the time. As you always get the non-land card, right? What is the average mana cost of a deck? I mean, there's Convoke things. You're just drawing 2 cards and getting a creature or something. I mean, you just really wouldn't like getting a trick. There are a lot of good tricks. I'm on an A-. I'm okay with an A- on this one. Sorry, Scotty. It's really good. And flipping is not nothing.
This is technically better than the text Cascade, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'll go up to A-. I love cascading.
Like, you mean it's better because opponent might have a 7 drop as well? Or something bigger?
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean... Sure. I don't think it's much better. Cascade. I guess, I mean, it is better. Into the Fire for... Later, let me reset the grades. Into the Fire for 2 and a red, it's a sorcery that says choose one. Into the Fire deals 2 damage to each creature, planeswalker, and battle, or put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, then draw that many cards +1. Yeah, the second part is bad. This could be both easy. The first part is whatever, it's like super whatever, it's sorcery. It hits your battles, by the way, so you can't be like, oh, I'm gonna hit opponent's battle. No, it hits your battles as well, so you might just have more battles on your side. Battles that you're defending. This is crappy. I'm on a D. And I guess it's fine in sideboard. Do we get this sideboard grade?
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that. I'm gonna give this an F anyway in the main, so.
Yeah, I'm on a D-. D-, it's playable. It's bad. It's really bad though.
I'll give it a D.
Like, you're not even getting an extra card. It's so medium.
I mean, like, technically speaking, these narrow effects, right, are like better when they have an out to cantrip themselves, but the cantrip aspect is so bad.
Yeah, but remember even the Zendika Rising Land, even the MDFC that had that effect was bad. Like, I didn't want to put it all in my deck over a mountain. Like, that's how bad the effect was.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad effect. Instant speed is a bit different, but it's not like it's really good when it's instant speed. For 3 and a red... Oh, did I reset the grades? I think I did. No, I didn't. Wait, 1 second. Sorry, it's a bit harder for me to do that here. Anyways, Invasion of Kalkheim. For 3 and a red, you get a 4 defense battle. And when it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from your hand, then draw that many cards. Until the end of your next turn, you may play cards exiled this way. And the flip side is Pyre of the World Tree, which is an enchantment that says discard a land. Pyre of the World Tree deals 2 damage to any target. And whenever you discard a land card, exile the top card of your library, you may play that card this turn. I think this is amazing. I mean, okay, amazing. I think this is pretty fucking good. Like the first part, it's gonna be like draw 3 a good amount of times. It's gonna be like just exile 3 cards, play. You can what? You can play them, right? You may play them. So you play a land, and you maybe play something else. So you can play them all of those next turn, whatever. Every land, if you flip it, every land deals 2 damage and you get extra value from it. Like, I think this is great. Especially in red, I'm gonna be B+ for this. This is an amazing card, I think. Bit weird, very weird.
I'm gonna push back against the claim that this is gonna be a draw 3 most often. Because if we walk through the scenarios where you're gonna do this, you're not gonna drop this on 4, which is when you're probably gonna have like 3 to 4 cards in hand, right? Because then you can't cast them all the next turn. Because it's just like way too much mana to be actually reasonably doing that. And then like if you're not casting this on 4, that means you're casting other cards, which means you're emptying your hand. And I feel like realistically, when you can actually empty your hand to do this, it's probably going to be like 2 or maybe even 1.
I don't know.
Right?
On turn 5, I'm super happy playing this, I think.
Yeah.
Turn 5 is more reasonable.
And the thing is that you're not playing that land that turn if it's in your hand. You're going to play the land after the things that got exiled.
That's true. Sure. That is true. That is true. I think this card is pretty good. The backside is great. The backside is super strong, I think.
Super good, yeah.
The fact that like you can even like hold on to a land to like double shoot something to kill larger stuff is pretty awesome. So I really like flipping this, but this is like a B- for me.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna push back in a little bit. I don't think the backside is exciting. I think most of the uncommon backsides are better than this backside. This backside is pretty clunky. It's trading 1 for 1. In theory, you do draw a card every time you discard a land chair. But like dealing 2 is kind of whatever. It's a nice effect, but you're discarding a land card to get the deal 2 effect. Like it's not really something I want. Like sure, if I have that in my deck, fine, but I would never pay 4 mana for the backside. And the front side is like nice. I think the front side is pretty good. It's kind of like Escape the Wilds-ish kind of card. Was it Escape the Wilds?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But the problem with the front side is that it is really bad as a top deck later on.
Says the guy who likes Mind Rot.
What?
I think says the guy who likes Mind Rot.
Yes, but Mind Rot is better than this front side. Well, not really, but it's close. I'm on a C- for this. I don't think this card is particularly great. I think both sides play much more clunky than they read. Like, when I first saw this card, it read very well to me as well, but it's like... I'm not too excited about neither one of the sides. I might be underestimating... I don't think I'm underestimating the backside personally. I think the backside is honestly kind of whatever. The front side is nice, but do you you don't really want to pay 4 mana to effectively draw 2 to 3 cards in red. Like, it's fine, but it's not that good either. Yeah, I'm on a C-.
I think it's really good. I'm gonna go to a B just because what chat especially mentioned is it doesn't affect the board when you play it. So that's kind of huge. But I still think it's amazing. Like, B is a super high grade. Well, I mean, Scotty says stop the controversial score. It's like pushing the card from a B+ to B is it's kind of similar for the score, right?
It drops it by a whole number. It dropped it from 5 to 4.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I'm gonna pick that really highly. Anyways, on to the next one. We have Invasion of What is this? Karsus. Invasion of Karsus. For 2 and double red, we get a 4 defense siege. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. And once you flip it, you get Refraction Elemental, which is a 4/4 with ward pay to life, and whenever you cast a spell, this thing deals 2 damage to each opponent. Spell is anything except besides the land. Deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. When you're dealing damage to everything, right? You can clear a lot of things on the board. But you're also clearing your things, so it's gonna be way harder to flip this. I mean, once this flips, this is really powerful. Like, everything you play is gonna deal damage to opponent's face. It's usually just instant or sorceries and you get a 4/4. I think I'm gonna start it... I'm gonna start as a B minus. The 3 damage is gonna be kind of like a board wipe, and it's not
Did you
really
say
board.
C or B minus?
B minus, my bad.
Okay.
I like the 3 damage to everything spells, but then it's hard to flip. I'm gonna push it down to C plus. C plus that's what it's gonna get from me. Hard to flip. You
Okay,
really want to flip it.
I'm pretty into this. I'm also gonna say, because of the way you can actually just navigate, especially with stuff like backup and also just drafting.
Yeah.
You can manipulate boards where you can one-sided wipe reasonably, I think, to actually threaten to flip this. And I think the backside is actually just very strong.
Yes, very
This is
strong.
B minus for me.
Yes. I agree with everything and one of those points. It's also like pretty good in your opening hand, because then you can just don't play anything until for turn 4. And that's fine. It's not like your opponent will play around you if you're having a 4-mana brat. The one problem I do have with this card is that it doesn't really play well with anything that Red's trying to do, and that 3 damage kind of kills almost everything in red, even with backup.
Yeah. It kills the 4/3 menace.
It's a kind of a really clunky draw later on. I think your opponent is actually gonna profit more from the 3 damage generally than you, because they might not be playing red, even if you have even though you have backup. That will depend from deck to deck. I like this more than the last battle, but I still don't love this. I'm gonna C for this. The problem is that I just don't think red wants this effect. It is like, sure, this card is quite good in your opening hand, but then you're also not like doing what your deck wants to really do generally, and I just don't think you want to pick this and try to. I guess blue-red might want this, but then again, you want a bunch of tokens, because it might be a little bit slower. I still think it's more like a tempo, kind of a tempo control deck in a weird sense, but or an aggro control deck.
I think it's hard to use in red.
I'm gonna stick with C. I don't think this card is that great. It's like, if it was in, let's say,
Green.
white, even, I would give it a much higher grade. I just don't really like it in red.
I'd be really happy with this in green.
I would be really happy with it in white, black, and I guess green, but mainly in white and black.
The one thing about this is, this doesn't up the grade, but imagine the red uncommon with double prowess once you flip it with this. That's something. Alright, next up we have Invasion of Tarkir. For 1 and a red... Oh, whoa. Wait guys, wait with the votes. You can vote now. For 1 and a red, it's a 5 defense battle that says, when it enters the battlefield, reveal any number of dragon cards from your hand. When you do, this thing deals X plus 2 damage to any other target. where X is the number of cards revealed this way. X cannot be... X can be 0, okay, my god. And when you flip it, 5 defense, remember, you get a 4/4 flying trample, and when a dragon you control attacks, it deals 2 damage to any target, and this is a dragon. Okay, this is amazing. This is amazing. This is really good. For 2 mana you deal 2 damage, right? And you are super happy flipping this. You get a dragon that attacks, that's flying and trample and a 4/4, and every time it attacks it's gonna deal 2 damage to anything you want it to deal. You can BM the opponent by, if you're heading on board, you can deal damage to your battles. That's the main thing about it. I'm on a B+ for this one. This is beautiful.
I'm only slightly lower. I do agree the backside is good, right? A lot of backsides for battles are good. I think the front side is pretty hot medium.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of dealing 2 damage for 2 mana at sorcery speed. Not really into that. But I think I'm just on a B here. You're on a B+, right, Lola?
Yeah, I'm on a B+.
Okay, I'm closer to B- than a B+, but I'm on a B.
Weirdly enough, I think I might be the highest on this card, even though I really dislike 2-mana deal 2. I think this is very comparable to the uncommon battle, the 2-mana tormenting boys, but it has a board impacting effect, and it flips into something better. Like the front side is worse as a card, maybe even significantly so, but the backside is also significantly better, and at least the front side does kind of help with you in flipping this battle. I think red is very good at flipping battles already. I am actually on an A- or an A, but I'll go A-. It's still like, the front side is pretty bad, and the back side, nah, I'll go A. This is 2 mana. I'll go A.
Imagine this with...
I think this is better than the uncommon 2-drop, but it's close.
There are 2 dragons. One of them is a 3/2 in blue, that's nothing special, and one of them is the uncommon. And this is for any dragon, so that is gonna happen sometimes. Anyways, on to the next one. We have Nahiri's War Crafting for 1 and double red. We have a sorcery that says deal 5 damage to target creature, planeswalker or battle. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the excess damage dealt this way. You may exile one of those cards, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may play the exiled card this turn. Okay, 3 mana sorcery deal 5 damage is fine. Double red hurts it. You may play the exiled card, so on turn 4 plus, you can play this and play a land. It depends like what you're killing, obviously. But this is like the one where you're super happy killing smaller things, especially later on in the game, when you don't really care maybe about a bigger thing, but you really want to have another card. Getting like just 1 card is huge, so dealing 5 to something that has 4 toughness later on, because it's only this turn. I think this is amazing. I'm gonna give it a B. It's not really 2 for 1 a lot of times, but this is really good. I'm gonna go for a B.
I love this card. This answers, like, the difference between 5 and 4 is massive in terms of what it's answering, even if you don't get like an additional card off of that. And otherwise, just straight up 2 for 1. So something that actually fills the role of answering threats and then being a 2 for 1, B+ for me.
It's not a straight up 2 for 1. Depends. Like you might get something that costs more than what you can pay.
Yeah, but you also can look at more cards.
Depending on what you killed.
Oh, sorry, you read it and I actually misread it somehow. I reverse misread it. I thought you had until your next turn.
No.
So that's much worse.
This
That's
turn
much
excess
worse.
damage.
I'll go down to a B.
Yeah, I dislike, like, I think this is an okay removal spell. I think it's worse than basically all the good common removal spells, but then that's the additional upside of you getting to play something else. Because it's a 1 red sorcery, which is really awkward. I'm on a B- for this because it has really high upside in terms of getting a cheaper one with this, and at least you can often get a land, and that's probably gonna be the most common thing you're gonna get. And that is pretty good. Like, kill something, get a land is a very good magic card. That would be probably a B+, but this still, like, you have to kill something small, kinda, to guarantee a land, and or even be pretty likely to hit a land. And it's double red sorcery. Yeah, B-.
Alright.
You also have a hard time playing any red cards off the hit because it's double red.
Yeah. Rampaging Raptor. For 2 and double red, we get a 4/4 trample haste. That's not all. For 2 and a red, this guy gets +2/+0. That's not all. Whenever this thing deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls or a battle that player protects. Jesus, that's like red questing beast or something. 4 mana trample haste is perfect for my 4 mana card, 4 mana creature. That's like really good, and it can be bigger later on. That's amazing. It has trample as well, and this is beautiful at clearing battles. You have to attack them. Just go for the face. Of course, opponent can block those, but you can just buff it as well and deal the excess damage there. Oh, this is really nice. I don't think it's a bomb, but it's amazing. I think it's a B+, one of the best 4-drops you're ever gonna have.
Yeah, B+ for me as well.
I think this card is kind of cracked. I was considering for a while to giving it an A+. I think it's one of the best cards we've seen so far in this set. The upside on this card is ridiculously high.
Yeah.
And I would give a 4 mana for trample haste alone probably a B+ if it was only a 4 mana for trample haste. But it can give itself +2/+0, and if you ever have a battle, this card is insanely good. If you ever play battle into this is probably the best thing in the whole set you could play.
Yeah, battle into this is gonna feel devastating in a lot of boards.
Yeah, it's like, or at least one of the best things you can play. I'm gonna give this an A.
Okay. Scotty, you were on B+?
I was on a B+ as well.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Next up, we have Urabrask. For 2 and double red, we get a 4/4 first strike. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Urabrask deals 1 damage to target opponent and you add a red mana into your pool. For just a single red mana, exile Urabrask, then return it to the battlefield, transformed under its owner's control. Activate only as sorcery and only if you've cast 3 or more instant or sorcery spells this turn. Let's quickly read the backside because it doesn't matter. Great Word, it's a saga. 1 mana. Deals 3 damage to target opponent and each creature they control. 2, not 1 mana. Second step. Create 3 treasure tokens. The third one, until end of turn, you may cast instant or sorcery spells from any graveyard. If you cast that spell, it gets exiled, and the Great Work gets flipped, and you get Urabrask again. Oops, that's not Urabrask. Okay, I mean, 4 mana first strike is... 4 mana 4/4 first strike is amazing. Nightmare to block, nightmare to attack into, like attacks just stop if they don't remove it. 1 damage to target opponent and a red mana for any instant or sorcery is really nice. Basically never gonna flip, but you do have really nice synergy with blue and red combined. So you have Convoke, draw 2 in blue. You have 2 mana, exile top 2 cards in red. Both of those are sorceries and instants. And you may play those cards until next turn. So it is possible. Now this is not impossible. There was which one was impossible? The Jingitax, I think. Yeah, the Jingitax was like literally impossible. Unless you're losing the game. So this one can happen. It most likely won't, ever, but there is a slight chance. So I'm kind of reviewing it as the front side, which is really powerful, but just on the off chance that it may happen, it really may happen, you can work a bit towards doing this. You're adding like 1 red every single you do that, so you can always flip it, you can probably multi-spell. I am gonna give it a B+. The front side is amazing, and rarely it is gonna flip. Rarely. And then you, again, win the game like with most of these.
Okay. Weirdly enough, like it's a ton of work to flip this, and I don't even think the backside necessarily. Like the first 2 chapters may not even win you the game if they have like 4 toughness creatures, etc. So you're giving this a B+. I'm like pretty lower on it. I think 4/4. I'm basically evaluating this as like a 4/4 first strike that like pings a little bit.
Also, you can multi-spell.
Sure, with instant sorceries. Yeah, that's actually a big deal. That's actually a pretty decent improvement. I still think overall this is a B- for me.
Okay, I have a question. Is this worse or better than Defiler, the red Defiler in DMU? I think it's worse.
I think it's better.
Similar.
I think it's better. I actually really like the adding mana aspect for the double spelling on turn 5.
Yeah, but the red Defiler could add mana as well, because you could cast your spells for cheaper. You could cast them for 5.
Yeah, and it's any target, right? The 1 damage to any target.
Yeah, I don't remember what the rest of the text. It was like deal 1 damage when you cast a permanent spell, I think, something like that.
It's permanent and it's red permanent, and it's gotta be red.
Yeah, and it was any target.
Any target.
I don't think the red Defiler was particularly good. Double red hurts enough. Like, sure, if it wasn't double red, I would probably go into B, somewhere in the B range. But it does push me this down to a C range for me. I like the common 4-drops better than this, I think.
The 3/4 first strike with backup?
I think the 3/4 first strike with backup is better.
It's a lot better.
I think the 3/4 first strike is like considerably better than this.
Interesting. Obviously
But
because of
the
single
extra red
red.
pip?
Yeah, the extra red pip and the fact that it actually can also do something on your other creatures.
That's true, yeah.
I'm gonna give this a C.
Oui! C? Like a... Okay. What did you give it, Scotty? A B-?
A B-, yeah.
Oh, weird. These
B-.
red cards are...
I'll go to C+. C+.
These red cards are very interesting in terms of grades. Voldaren Thrill Seeker is next up for 2 and a red. You get a 1/1 with backup 2, and it has a line of text that says 1 colorless mana, sacrifice this creature, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Yeah, I mean, let's go. Give me this as a 3-drop, sure. 3 mana 3/3 with this effect as a base. Yargle is where I'm gonna be playing it.
Oh yeah, Yargle and this. Oh yes, Lolly, you got. Yes, I'm so excited to do that.
Every third draft is gonna look like that, so this set is probably gonna be very low interaction. As I mean, what can you do against 20 damage to your face? This is amazing. This is just amazing. Whatever you do with it, it's gonna make a lot of littles happen, even in like late game, mid game. You're gonna be attacking with some evasion, and you sack it and kill the opponent after you deal damage. You have the red 4/3 menace, which doubles its power, so it's gonna be 12 when it's attacking battles. So that can deal 12 to the opponent's face. And I'm just saying like interesting things that you can do with it. And the base is amazing. The base is a 3/3 with this ability. This is crazy. I'm gonna give like a super high B+. I think I am gonna move it to a bomb rating at one point, but I'm gonna start it as a B+.
Okay, yeah, I love this card. I think this is a hyper efficient 3-drop. I don't think this is like as board dominating. I feel like most of the time this is a 3/3 instead of adding counters and other things. But like obviously pushing damage through is fantastic. This is a B for me.
Yeah, for me it's more about just adding 2 counters somewhere and pushing damage. I don't really care about putting counters on this. Like, sure, I can sack this to deal damage or something, but I can just trade with this. Like it's nice removal protection, I guess, but also the effect kind of becomes better the lower power this is because you can just jump and sack.
Yeah.
But I do really like this for pushing damage. G-drop into this seems really fucking good. And later on, if you really need to, you can use your big creature as a removal spell, kinda. You can use this.
Or win
to
the game.
Yeah, win the game. You can use this with Yargle, and you never have to hit your opponent.
There are gain 1 life lands, somebody mentioned that.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, you might need to hit them like a couple of times. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you can just sacrifice this as well, so 1 land
I
doesn't
will-
work.
I will probably pick this higher than I should, only because I really want to have this and Yargle in the same deck. I'm not
Okay.
kidding. I probably will pick this like slightly higher than I should because I really want this and Yargle once.
okay. What's your grade?
I'm B minus, I think. It's really good at pushing damage. I think this is definitely better than the last card. Yeah, I'm not like too excited about the abilities on this. Like, sure, it's nice, but like I don't think it makes this that much better.
I think it does.
But I am really excited about the 3-mana 1/1 backup 2 and no other text. Like that, I am excited about. I'm gonna.
Alright. And that covers the red rares and mythic.